Get nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Carey Davis off for the next couple of days. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 203, your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We're going to talk to Jeremy Rutherford at 3 o'clock about the Philip Broberg extension and subsequent injury. So we got a little Blues talk. I know at some point we will dive into a big signing in Major League Baseball. But a lot of the show today dedicated to what we saw over the weekend in the NFL and, of course, some college football, too. What an unbelievable weekend in the NFL.
Yeah.
Save for one game, which was the last one of the weekend, last night, Chargers and Patriots, which, by the way, was at the very, not entertaining, but at the very least it was close until the fourth quarter. All the other games came down to the wire. There were big upsets. There were surprises. There was veteran quarterbacks doing their thing. The NFL really had it all over the weekend, and it kind of allowed us as football fans to wash the bad taste out of our mouths from Oregon football on Friday night. We'll get to that in a second.
I told you.
Oh, man.
By the way, heading into the Niners-Eagles game, the team that had the ball, the team that was leading at the 2-minute mark of the second half, 0-3.
Yeah.
Heading into that game. And
Wild finishes.
Could have been 0-4.
Could have been. So let's do our NFL wildcard weekend exit survey. There's bigger storylines, of course, that came out of the weekend that we'll dive into further in future segments. So let's just do an all-encompassing exit survey. First question I got for you guys. What was the biggest thing, prediction, expectation, etc., that you missed on? Because I got one that I was wrong all weekend pretty much, but I got one that I whiffed on badly.
So, for me, it's one that I ultimately whiffed on because I picked the Eagles, but it is something I did say last week when I may have been trying to throw the scent off of picking the Eagles. I said, anytime you have a coach named Kyle Shanahan, your team has a chance to win. What I forgot to mention was that anytime you have Kyle Shanahan on the offensive side and you have Robert Saleh on the defensive side, because he took a bunch of guys that I think worked at Walmart the week before, no disrespect, but they weren't playing football,
right?
And put up that display against the Eagles. Now, the Eagles weren't great, but is that a result of the defense? Maybe, maybe not, whatever. I underestimated the 49ers because I thought to myself, they don't have a team. And then they lost another guy in their first quarter, George Kittle, gone. They replaced him with, I don't know, somebody else.
Probably Tongas.
And then,
And they used Juszczyk a lot, too, the fullback.
And then Brock Purdy puts on a display, further cementing that he is not Mr. Irrelevant. He is the real deal. He's not just a managing quarterback. He can do some fun things, and then they put up the trick play. And I watched Dan Orlovsky break that down today on TV.
Yeah.
The last play of in the third quarter, they ran the exact same play without the receiver option on it. And when he noticed that they didn't trail the guy, that the one defensive guy trailed the guy in motion and then left a pocket behind, and they never filled it. McCaffrey was wide open the first time, just downfield. Then the next time they ran it, he put McCaffrey out there to catch a pass and threw the pass, and there was nobody around. So you talk about it's like a heavyweight champion, setting up the guy with the jab, the jab, the jab, the jab. Oh, you're lowering your hand. Boop, there you go, knockout.
That to me is the difference between play callers that have an understanding of what they're doing and play callers that simply, like Tecmo Bowl, you're just picking the play.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan setting you up. Sean McVay setting you up. Andy Reid setting you up. And then you've got other guys that are just, I think this play, I need a run play. I think this will be fine. They're not 2-3 steps ahead. They're just calling the play in the moment. Marsh, I don't know where you're going with this, but I'll piggyback off of what Jamie said in case you're going in another direction. I completely underestimated the 49ers. I completely overestimated what the injuries would do to the 49ers. I believe, Marsh, and I don't want to steal your quote, but when we were in the office pre-show, you were saying 49ers have won all season long despite the injuries.
Right. To
the point where I asked you guys, is Kyle Shanahan at least in the picture for Coach of the Year?
Right.
But then I'm like, but they're not. There's no way they're going to beat the Eagles. I completely whiffed on that. And this goes back to a year ago when I'm like, what's Nick Sirianni doing? Like, is he pushing all the right buttons, or is he kind of flying blind and he's just got the best players at his disposal
that he's arguing with on the sidelines in a playoff game?
Yeah, that was a good look.
Well, I wonder if A.J. Brown played his last game as an Eagle, but I completely whiffed on that game. I thought there was no chance in hell. A 49ers team that lost Nick Bosa, that lost Fred Warner, that lost, basically all of their linebackers, would go into that game, lose George Kittle early, and still win it. And there was a lot of things they didn't do well. Brock Purdy, one interception was on him. The other interception is probably weather related. Sky Moore took a punt, I think on his own 5-yard line. There was mistakes galore, and the 49ers still won that thing. So that was the biggest prediction / expectation that I was completely wrong about.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles would switch gears and really lock in like they did last year, and that just was not the case, man. Like, I thought some of the decision making from Jalen Hurts, like there were some plays where the 49ers were trying to keep him in the pocket, and he would just roll out and throw the ball out of bounds. I'm like, dude, they're just trying to contain you.
Yeah.
Like, stay in the pocket, man.
He took a lot of safe throws. And granted, it wasn't all Jalen Hurts. I mean, A.J. Brown
dropped a few passes.
He dropped 2 at least. The one right across the middle was the most egregious one.
I don't know. I didn't think the Eagles, even if they made it and won that game, I don't know how far they get. I really don't. But, I texted you guys last night. I was like, man, looking back at it, why didn't we go with the 49ers? Brock Purdy, outside of the NFC Championship game when he went 4 for 4 and then got hurt, in which the Eagles went on to go to the Super Bowl the first time they played the Chiefs, he's only lost in the Super Bowl.
Right.
They didn't make the playoffs last year, so they didn't play in the playoffs. Like, this guy comes to play in the playoffs, and I guess we just overlooked it.
I certainly did. No question about it. All right. What was the biggest thing, prediction, expectation you got right? So the thing that you kind of expected going in.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen.
I started the week saying Jacksonville's the better team. They're playing better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Jaguars are going to be my pick. That was me on Monday. On Tuesday, I started to talk myself out of it. By Wednesday, I'm like, nah, I'm not going against Josh Allen. And I think it kind of played out the exact way. Jacksonville at times was the better team, looked like they were going to win that thing until the ball wound up in Josh Allen's hands with about 2 minutes remaining, and he went right down the field. Trevor Lawrence did have an opportunity to get into field goal range.
Let's talk about
and at least tie that thing, and he threw the interception.
Okay, no, he didn't. He threw a ball through a receiver's hands.
That's true, too.
That's different. That's an interception with an asterisk to me.
That's fair.
And that wasn't the only time it happened. It happened in a couple of different games yesterday where these guys who were paid good money to just catch that ball through the hands, Anthony. I cannot accept that. The Jaguars should have been able to put a good march down the field ahead of them. That guy was there. He got right through the hands.
I thought they would. I thought they would have
at least kick a field goal.
When Allen scored a touchdown, I thought, all right, I thought that thing was headed for overtime.
But then the guy can't catch a damn ball.
When Allen went into the end zone, and I don't know what you needed a touchdown there, so you could try to take a couple of knees and then give yourself one shot. I think they played it the way they had to.
You got to score.
You have to score. So Josh Allen gets in. I'm like, 1 minute left. Jacksonville's got a timeout left. I'm like, at the very least, they're going to get in a field goal range here. And unfortunately, they threw the interception. But that was the one that I at least talked to myself midway through. I'm like, you know what? Jacksonville is the better team. They don't have Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, by the way, we talk a lot about Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen took a team that is really, it is flawed. It is flawed ridden. But he was the only one out of that group, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, in fact, that actually took their average team to the playoffs.
Right.
And then won a playoff game.
And he beat all of those teams along the way.
And he did, yeah.
And by the way, he was injured for like most of that game. In that final drive, I almost forgot that he looked like his leg like went backwards the first time he ran the ball in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So he was pretty banged up throughout that whole game. So kudos to Josh Allen. I'm really rooting for him.
The team that impressed you the most?
The Bears.
Yeah.
Hands down, the Bears. Like, I know they were behind and they had to have this magnificent comeback, but
And they did.
that's really what's impressive is you have a team that has not been in the playoffs for I don't even know how many years, a team that hasn't been good for I don't know how many years. And in one season, they become good. You're like, okay, all right, oh, yeah. And in the same season, now they have this grit and determination and won't be denied and fight to the very end and win. Yeah, that was impressive.
Mine's the Panthers. I know they lost, but I did not expect that game to go the way it did. After the first touchdown the Rams scored, I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, this is going to be just a horrible first game. And the Panthers had a shot to win that game. And the Rams, obviously, marched down the field. They end up winning the game. It was a great way to start off Wild Card Weekend, but I was very impressed with how the Panthers played, given how they ended their season and barely squeaked in.
I think that's a fair point. I'm going to go with the Bears as well, just because of the comeback that they had, and we'll dive into the anatomy of a choke. I root for a team that loves to just screw up games they should win. I actually texted my buddies, all Bears fans, at halftime, and I said something very specific, and I said, you guys aren't out of it. I didn't say the Bears are going to win. I said that there's something that Green Bay's not doing that I saw Atlanta do countless times and lose games, and we'll dive into that a little bit later. But the Bears winning that one, and we have a lot more on that coming up. I thought the Bears very impressive in that comeback win.
I thought Caleb Williams was really impressive in that.
The throw that he made on 4th and 7,
Yeah.
where he's kind of like, he did kind of the Jordan throw. He's falling backwards, he's falling aside. Perfect throw to Roma Dunze on the sidelines to keep that drive alive. He was impressive. He was also awful. In the first half, he was awful.
For sure. Well, that's why you play 60 minutes.
In the second half, he was brilliant.
There's another
fast lane the Packers, as Ben Johnson would say.
There's another great quarterback that also played terrible for like the entire game at Soldier Field and won in the final quarter. Not in the playoffs, but we'll see.
Mitchie football? Nick Foles?
Jim McMahon.
No.
Kirky football?
Close.
Aaron Rodgers?
No. That's right. J.J. McCarthy, week 1, played 3 terrible quarters. Last quarter, comeback.
I did not see that. For some reason, I did not see that coming.
You could have given me 100 guesses.
I didn't see that coming.
I'd be like, Terry Bradshaw?
Yeah. I went right to the playoffs. I don't know. All right.
Not in the playoffs.
No, it certainly wasn't.
Hard to believe.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got more coming up on the NFL playoffs. Is the Philip Broberg extension the only positive?
Why you got to word it like that?
I'm actually reading right from it.
What the hell?
I wrote that,
What the
Jamie.
hell's wrong with you?
Am I wrong?
It's terrible.
The only positive
It's terrible.
to take away this season.
Yeah.
All right, it's next on 101 ESPN.
Urban Chestnut has Zwickle Light out and available right now. If you were having fun over the weekend, I know I was, went to a little fundraiser on Saturday evening. Football game was on. I was thrilled to see a whole bunch of people crack open Zwickle Light. They were loving it and talking about how great it is and that they're so happy that it's only 95 calories, 3.7 carbs, and they absolutely love the taste, and you will too. And they love the fact that it's a St. Louis beer that is brewed by St. Louisans. That's right. Local brewery in town here, Urban Chestnut, has done it again. Zwickle Light is amazing. I just love having it at the house. Whether it's a birthday party, whether it's a playoff game, no matter what your situation is, Zwickle Light is fantastic. It is the unofficial beer of St. Louis hockey, but the official beer of the Rivers House. Absolutely. Lots of it in the fridge, always ice cold. So if you come on by, I can give you a Zwickle Light, and you will absolutely love it. For any other information that you're looking for out there regarding Urban Chestnut, check him out at urbanchestnut.com. Again, that's urbanchestnut.com. Keep it light and keep it local.
Philip Broberg signed a 6-year, $48 million contract with the Blues on Saturday. It has an average annual value of $8 million and begins next season. The 24-year-old defenseman has 15 points, 2 goals, 13 assists in 46 games this year. Is second on the Blues. In that manner, he signed a 2-year, $9.16 million contract with the team on August 20th, 2024. After the Oilers, of course, did not match the offer sheet tendered by the Blues on August 13th and could have become a restricted free agent after the season. Instead, Blues signed him up, set NHL career highs in games with 68, goals with 8, assists with 21, points with 29, and shots on goal 97 last season. So this was a no-brainer. Now, I know he suffered a concussion or the head injury. Hopefully he's only out for a couple of days and he'll be fine. Bad timing on that, but this is a player, I think, Jamie, that you have talked in great length about. Others have talked at great length about. This is the one that you want to make sure that you sign long-term. In the midst of what has turned out to be a down season, this is one of the few bright spots.
Yeah. There was somebody on this show that said that Philip Broberg would made $8 million about a month and a half into last season when he got here.
Carey?
Yeah, Carey said it. It was great, too.
Guy knows his hockey.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does. I had talked about it in passing, and then Carey dove into the numbers and had a look and nailed it. It's a good job by Carey, for sure. No, this guy, as soon as he started to play last year, I'm like, this is your future. Mm-hmm. This is him. And we use that term kind of loosely sometimes. I have no idea what the ceiling is for Philip Broberg. This, again, I've said it like a broken record. This is his first or his second full NHL season. Like, he's still a puppy, and he's controlling the game. He's your most dominant defenseman. He's probably your best overall player all season long for the St. Louis Blues. He's now going to be an Olympian. all before the age of, I think he's
24.
24 years old. 24 years old. Before the age of 25. Look at this guy. That $8 million contract is going to look amazing in about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he is the epitome of when skill meets hockey IQ.
Yeah.
Or skill meets baseball IQ.
Well, just wait, too, because now they're going to unleash him on a power play. I've been saying it all year. They should have him on a power play. Now I think with this deal, his agent might have said, hey, listen, we're not coaching the team here, but Philip has got some pretty good offensive instincts. We'd like to see him on the power play. And I think that Jim Montgomery would also like to see him on a power play. So I think you're going to see him get moved into a spot where he can get some power play time.
Well, good.
Is there a reason why he has not been that guy up until this point, given where the power play is?
Well, looking at this season,
Right.
yes. But if you look at last season, Cam Fowler was dealing out there on the power play, and you look at Justin Falk.
He's been fine.
So how do you change up the dance partners, right?
Unit 2.
Yeah, but right now Unit 1 was Cam Fowler. Unit 2 was Justin Falk. So I think what you do is, for me, he starts to get Cam Fowler reps. Because Justin Falk has still got 11 goals. And he's one of the only guys that gets the puck to the net.
Right.
So for me, it's Cam Fowler reps.
I'm.
You can no longer say Cam
Totally
Fowler's
fine
the 6.1. He's the guy with the contract. No, the guy with the contract now is Philip
Right.
Broberg.
Well, and the guy that's playing better.
Oh, clearly.
So,
Clearly.
I mean, no offense to Cam Fowler. I love the signing. I know we all did. Love the trade, love the signing, love
He's
the
having
addition.
a rough go this
He's
year.
having a rough go.
He's
for
not
whatever reason.
alone. Like, we could go down the entire roster almost and say, hey, he's having a rough go.
Yeah.
Except there might be only one guy you say he's not having a rough go, and it's Philip Broberg.
Yeah, I just thought, talking about Cam Fowler, sometimes you look at some of these players and you're like, okay, I can depend on that guy because he's a veteran. I just thought that maybe this year he would take what happened last season with the Blues and that would carry over. It just hasn't. I'm not saying he's the reason why the team is doing what they're doing.
Why are you
but
blaming him?
don't be doing that. Don't be doing that right
Sorry.
now. Last week you said I thought Army was a liar.
Well,
Now you're saying I don't like Cam Fowler? What's going on?
we didn't say Army was a liar. The way you portrayed it was that you thought Army was a liar. Doesn't mean you meant it, Marshy. I say a lot of things I don't mean. You know, Anthony. By the way, I love you.
Thank you.
Did I mean that? I don't know.
I'm gonna accept it. That's fine. Yeah. Marsh, did you have a
I
thought that
kind
you
of
wanted
lost
to finish
my
there?
train of thought. Jamie ruined it for me.
He sidetracked.
He likes to ruin
We're talking
a lot
about
of
Cam
things.
Fowler. We're talking about Broberg.
Yeah.
We're talking about the power play or
You're
lack
talking about
thereof.
Cam Fowler. You're going down Cam Fowler.
Yeah, he was a player that I thought would be a little bit more dependable, given him being a veteran, and just really hasn't panned out that way.
Well, so far this
season,
And it might be that way for the entire year. You just don't know, right?
Like things could change in 2 weeks.
They could.
I don't know.
Who friggin' knows? I have no idea. If you would have told me last year that I was going to witness some of the best Blues hockey I've seen in a while at the end of last year, I would have thought, well, I like your attitude. I just don't know if it's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So who knows? This Olympic break, maybe that's the kind of team this is like, okay, now we can turn it on because the way we're going to play is not sustainable for 82 games, but it is sustainable for 25. Let's go.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Hopefully that's the case. I'd love to be calling playoff hockey. Let's go, baby. Just not in Winnipeg this time. Be probably Colorado, which might be short-lived. But either way.
For Colorado, am I right, boys?
Yeah, remember last time they had to injure our goalie in order to win
That's
that
right,
series.
Marsh.
Now,
That's right.
2 goalies.
Yeah, so good luck. Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice just to make the playoffs.
Congratulations to Philip Broberg. This is
Yes.
a kid that was up and down and all around in the Edmonton organization. Stan Bowman should be fired immediately
Hi-yo.
in Edmonton for letting this gentleman walk out the door while keeping lesser thans on his roster and now eyeballing what is going to be a future NHL All-Star and a perennial Olympian for the foreseeable future.
And a hell of a model American.
A great guy, too. Swedish guys are always
He's not
good
American.
guys.
Yeah, he's playing here, though, right?
He is.
So,
Yeah, it's his home. He's here.
ipso facto.
Yeah.
That's why Jamie's an American.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's my home country.
Now.
What?
Now you are. You did it, man.
Yeah, not always, you know.
Way back in the day, long time
Not
ago.
always. It's weird. Process. It takes about 3-4 months.
A little bit of time.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, it's great.
Good to have you.
Donated $5,000 to a lawyer who didn't do his job. That was good.
That's tough.
That was great, yeah.
That's tough.
Almost went to jail. Yeah.
It's good to have you back, Jamie.
Be a movie one day.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Carey Davis will be back with us on Wednesday. The college football semifinals. Is Indiana just a wagon, or is Oregon just that bad? I don't even want to say they're bad. Just do we overestimate what Oregon can do? I know Marsh didn't.
I didn't.
That's next on 101 ESPN. I was talking to a buddy the other day, and he was talking to me about the mentality reads that I do. And he says, it's interesting. The older I get, I feel it too. He's got a couple of kids just like I do, and he experiences the low energy, feels tired all the time, and he's noticed the mood swings and everything. And I said, well, okay, why don't you head down to Mentality then? It's been phenomenal for me. Mentality, they're local. They got 2 different locations, one in Chesterfield and one in South County. They work with your schedule. They do a great job, and they up your free testosterone. So a lot of that stuff gets corrected. You'll have more energy. You won't feel tired all the time. The mood strings, the mood, you stabilize. You feel great. He goes, well, I want to get back in the gym and do some other things first. I said, well, maybe you got it reversed, man. Head down to Mentality. Make sure that there's nothing else going on first. If you are low on testosterone, though, they can help you with that. The treatments are simple. I mean, when I go in and out, a lot of times I'm out in less than 10 minutes, and it has changed a lot of things for me. When I go to the gym now, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel locked in. I feel focused. When I eat right and get the necessary sleep that I need, everything starts to fall in order here. So I highly encourage Tim and anybody that's listening right now. It's like, well, I'll do other things first. Go to Mentality first. Sit down. The process is simple. They make it easy. And you'll see, too, from a lot of other guys, it's kind of a clubhouse feel, and you feel great about it when you walk out. You can also visit mentalityhealth.com/radio right now to book your appointment. But I highly recommend just to go down there. Go down there. Tell them Anthony Stalter from 101 ESPN sent you in there. They'll talk to you about how you've been feeling. They'll test your blood, make sure there's nothing else going on. If it is low testosterone, put it on a program. You will feel fantastic in short order. It's Mentality.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We just talked about Philip Broberg's extension. The Blues, they've dropped 3 in a row, a pair of 4-2 losses over the weekend. They'll be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pregame for that one starts at 5:30. Puck drop is at 6:30. Tonight on 101 ESPN, we'll have the Monday night game of the wild card weekend, the final wild card game as the Steelers host the Texans. Pregame for that one starts at 6 with the kickoff at 7:15. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Well, Marsh called it. Marsh called it, 2 months ago, that Oregon, because they're Oregon football, would not win anything significantly or of significance. And Marsh, you pretty much had your golden moment on Friday.
I did.
Almost right. Well, not even almost. I mean, right away.
Yeah, no, like
less than 10
play.
seconds.
Yeah.
Less than 10 seconds into that game.
Actually, you know what? They did respond.
They did respond very well. And at that point, I thought, okay, well, it'll be a game. The fact that I said it was going to be a low-scoring game, I knew I was in trouble right away. But Marsh, how things proceeded was kind of what you called. Dante Moore, which I didn't see coming. I mean, Dante Moore, regardless of that game, he's a good player. But, boy, the wheels fell off in a hurry. The turnovers were horrible. They really couldn't do anything. I don't know how much you guys could just simply credit Indiana, or you fault the fact that Oregon, when they get to these moments, like Marsh has said, they just fall flat. So where are you guys on that? Like,
yeah,
who gets what section gets more of the pie? Indiana simply a wagon, and it didn't really matter who they played, or Oregon being a team that just can't get over the hump. That was the big issue on Friday.
I'm going to go with Indiana. They're undefeated this year, and they were a wagon last year, too. That everybody thought was a joke, but they end up being a really good football team. And so this year, when they started off undefeated first 4, 5, 6 weeks, people were like, yeah, we'll see.
Right.
And then they started beating real teams.
And then they went to Eugene. And I feel like that moment flipped the script.
It did. So the fact that they were able to put up 56 points is incredible. And listen to these numbers. I'm going to read you two sets of numbers. Quarterback A, 285 yards passing. Quarterback B, 177 yards passing. Which one do you think is Indiana's quarterback?
The way you're saying it, I'm playing the poker face. It's probably the fewer yards Mendoza had.
It is. Mendoza had 177 yards, and overall Indiana had 185 yards rushing, which is not historical.
Yeah, in college football, it's
not. But Mendoza had 5 touchdown passes.
What was it? Do you have the numbers in front of you? What was his completion percentage?
Well, it doesn't say.
What was it? Did you see the? Can you see the
17 to 20.
17?
Do the
20.
math.
Okay, I won't.
Either. Somebody else can though.
But at one point, I think he was completing like over 90% of his passes.
It's pretty impressive.
It was insane.
8.9 yards per pass, which is also very good.
Yeah, it's in other words, what Jamie just described there, it's not as if he took the check down and his completion percentage was high. It's like, look at his completion percentage. He was throwing for nearly a first down per pass. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why he only put the ball in the air 20 times because he didn't need to do any more. There's no need for it.
There's no need for it. And the defense played exceptionally well for Indiana. It was a blowout. So for Oregon, the only 2 losses they have are to Indiana. Mm-hmm. So to say that Oregon, didn't live up to expectations is pretty tough when the only 2 losses they have is to the best team in the country right now.
So when I looked at Oregon's schedule, heading into the playoff, the reason why I didn't really believe them is because outside of Indiana, who who did they really play that really gave them, a test, right? Like I think of, the Penn State game. You go to overtime against that Penn State team who fired their coach, not a great team.
Is it fair to say, though, that they still got the version of Penn State that we thought going into the year?
I don't think so.
Pretty close.
They still had their quarterback. It wasn't Penn State. Like
team the next week lost to UCLA.
I know, but they
think
just lost. Look, I think both things can be true. You're right, Marshall. Penn State was overrated going into the season. I still would consider that game, in at Penn State, whiteout Saturday night. They still have their QB. They still have everything going for them. Is a little different than Ohio State being Penn State later in the year.
At the time, the reason why I thought Oregon was going to lose the next week to Indiana was because of that game.
Okay.
Because I didn't really believe in Penn State. You won 21-7 against a 4-win Wisconsin team. Mm-hmm. You won by 2 points against Iowa, who is good defensively. It's still Iowa. Like I don't know if you should be winning by 2 points against, and I know Iowa's it was pretty decent this year. And then you beat a 15th ranked USC team pretty handedly, but USC, for whatever reason, over the last decade, just isn't good late in the year. So I didn't really believe in Oregon, and I didn't really think that they had been tested all that much up until, I guess you could say, Texas Tech, who also plays in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And their biggest wins this year were against Utah and
now defunct
BYU.
Yeah.
Who, I don't really think BYU is that great either. Mm-hmm. I know that they were ranked and they had a chance to make the college football playoff, but, just walk with me here. So that's why I didn't believe in Oregon. No, you have to give a ton of credit, though, to Indiana. They're well prepared. And I think them being a wagon, I think we need to pump the brakes real quick because I do think Miami's a solid football team. And I think the national championship game, and we'll talk about this later, and we have all week to talk about it, but I don't see a score like the two previous games that Indiana has had against Alabama and Oregon. I do not see that happening in the national championship.
I did not see that game being a blowout at all.
No.
Full stop on that. I still thought it was going to be competitive. But I talked about the Jordan Davison injury. They did not have, they did not have the one running back who made a difference in that previous Oregon-Indiana game and the one running back who was most effective in the previous two games, including the one against Texas Tech. It's not like Davison ran for 300-plus yards, and he was what Ashton Genty was for Boise State a year ago. But I thought not having that power element in their game was going to be detrimental. The turnovers are what cost Oregon, not the fact that that Davison was missing. But I did think that was a huge component that Oregon was missing going into that game. Regardless, this Indiana-Miami matchup is going to be fascinating. Because Indiana kind of does what it does, but it will mix and match its game plans. They've got two capable backs in Hemby and Black. They've got multiple wide receivers. They're 3, 4, 5 deep when it comes to receivers. Surratt being their main possession go-to guy. This kid Becker, who didn't even really play and to have a role in the offense when they first played Oregon. He caught another touchdown. He's kind of their speed guy. And then you've got Cooper, who could do a little of everything. Plus the tight end, Nowakowski, that can block and receive. This Indiana team is loaded, and they are physical, which is a component. You brought up Indiana from a year ago. That, I think, is the biggest difference between this team, of course, outside of Mendoza, this Indiana team compared to last Indiana's team. They are physical. They can bring the fight to you. So Miami being physical and the defensive line being good, and you got home field advantage because you're playing Miami.
It's going to be wild.
It's going to be very interesting.
I just can't see Miami doing anything.
Yeah, you've been saying that for over a month now.
I know we have, Marshy, but this team they just marched through whoever was in front of them on their way to the college football final. Indiana. Have they even had a test? Really? Have they really been tested?
Indiana?
Yeah.
Penn State, that was it.
Anything that's been a test
They've won.
They've won. So
Big Ten championship.
Looking at Miami, we have underestimated and we have disrespected them probably in their march to the final. I just don't know. When you look at the lineups, offensive line, defensive line, running backs, quarterback, coaching staff, I just feel like this is lopsided.
I can't get behind that. I think Miami, their route to the national championship, they have been battle tested. And I think if these games are close, if this game is close, I think that favors Miami based on what you just said. You know, situational football. Not saying Kurt Cignetti doesn't know how to manage a game by any means. I don't think that at all. But I do think if Miami can keep it close, that favors Miami based on Indiana's routing of these teams that they've played.
It is weird. I
said the same thing about Miami against Ohio State when they played each other a couple weeks ago.
It's weird, and I don't want to minimize what I just said about Indiana's defensively because they are physical. But it is interesting to kind of look at this matchup. It does remind me a little bit of previous like Big 12 offense versus SEC defense. Miami has a feel of like an SEC team, a team that's got a little bit of explosiveness but likes to pound the rock and play defense, where Indiana can play multiple different styles, but we think mostly of the offense. Typically, these games have favored the defense. But again, taking nothing away from Indiana's defense because they've been solid too.
Yeah, Indiana is a great football team. I'm really excited that we get two fresh teams. I know Miami had their dominance, over a decade ago, but it is good to see Miami back in the thick of things with college football, and then we have a new emerging program in Indiana. So I think this is good for college football. I'm excited for next Monday. I think it's going to be a great game.
I do too. And Ballrock from the Snake Pit says, doesn't Miami have a corner safety that's going to miss the first half? Yes, because of the targeting. I forget the young man's name.
As a vicious play, should be suspended.
It was number 6, Anthony.
He was number 6.
You have the roster pulled up.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at their depth chart. I can't find him. I'll find the young man's name. Xavier Lucas. Defensive back. Xavier Lucas. What'd you call him?
Lukey.
Oh, yeah.
It's our boy, Lukey.
That's a friend's call him. All right. The anatomy of a choke over the weekend. Packers absolutely blew it in Chicago. A lot of people are saying, well, they got too conservative. It's not why they lost. That's next on 101 ESPN. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of Packers fans that want Matt LaFleur fired following
You're that guy.
that loss to the Bears on Saturday night. Not here to convince you otherwise. That was as bad of a loss as you're going to see. The Packers, by the way, not only had a 21-3 lead at halftime against the Bears and coughed that up, the Packers were up by 3 and were driving with 3 minutes remaining. But then you had a series of mistakes, including a delay, which should never happen in those spots, which does fall on Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff. But in the 3 games versus Chicago this season, Green Bay outscored the Bears 41-6 before halftime and still lost 2 of those 3. So that means that tells me you had the right game plans going in. You can't, by accident, outscore your opponent 41-6 before halftime in 3 games without having a good game plan. So you had a good game plan going in, and then in the second half, the adjustments weren't made. You got sloppy. Attention to detail wasn't there, and you wound up losing 2-3. You also lost Jordan Love in the second game, so that has to factor in. But I'm listening to a lot of people say, well, the Packers were conservative in the second half. They got too conservative. And we as fans like to do that whenever we see a team lose and blow a big lead. Not lose, but blow a big lead. I got too conservative. I texted you guys, and I texted my buddies who are all Bears fans, are all losing their minds in that first half. I said, I've seen this before. As a Falcon fan, I'm a bit of an expert at blown leads.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the Super Bowl either, Jamie. That was one of many leads that the Falcons have blown. Okay?
Someone showed a picture of Matt LaFleur on the sidelines during the Falcons.
He was part of that Super Bowl collapse.
Yeah.
He was a quarterback's coach. That year. Yeah. So he knows.
Mm-hmm. He's been there before.
There's a lot of things that go into blowing a lead like that, including the other team, the Bears in this case, making plays. But the biggest thing, the Packers couldn't run the football. I always talk about getting control of a game. The Packers never, despite being up 21-3, they never really had control of the game.
Well, they couldn't. Like
they couldn't run the ball. They couldn't sustain drives. Yes, they were making plays offensively, but they weren't sustaining drives on the ground. Josh Jacobs was a ghost in that game.
Why is that?
The Bears did a nice job taking him away. There's some execution there from a run blocking standpoint that was not good on Green Bay's part.
Because Jacobs is a hell of a running back.
He's an excellent running back. The Bears bottled him up. They did a great job. That's really where I think this comeback starts for the Bears. Then we can get into Ben Johnson and that team scoring 25 fourth quarter points. And some of those drives are like 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then like 14 seconds. Chicago put on a clinic offensively in that fourth quarter. But again, it was not being able to run the ball in the second half. That's when you take somebody's will. That's when the head coach on the other team is like looking at the clock, the play clock.
Well, yeah,
constantly.
the clock becomes the enemy.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Packers. I like the way you said that, Jamie. The Packers never forced the Bears to fight the clock. The Packers were still the opponent, even in the third quarter when they were down.
So that goes along with a lot, like with hockey, is you get a goal lead, 2-goal lead. Puck management. We always talk about those 2 words. Puck management becomes your best friend because if the team has to chase the puck back to their own end for the majority of the time, it's like running the football. It's killing the clock.
Yeah.
And every time you look up, you're tired, you've played in your and the clock becomes the enemy to where it's not that you're not better than the other team, you just won't have enough time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, how about with a little over 3 minutes to go? 2nd and 10, 3:07 left in the fourth quarter. Incomplete pass. At the Chicago 21. Mm-hmm. You're at the Chicago 21. You throw the football. Then you take a 5-yard penalty. 3rd and 10, still to 21.
Which can't happen. That's the delay I was talking about.
And then another incomplete pass, which that one was thrown towards the end zone. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you're at 3rd and 15. I even texted you guys. I said, I think that they probably, if they're going to throw the football, just a little screen pass, get those yards back, make things easier for Brandon McManus, who then misses a field goal. Mm-hmm. That ended up being the difference maker in the game. Yep. But you also within those couple of plays, killed 5 seconds. And I know the Bears, they had, all 3 timeouts left at the time? They kept
did.
their timeouts.
Yes.
You end up maybe shaving a few of those timeouts off, and maybe things looked a little bit different. But you decided to throw there instead of running the ball, and maybe you don't run because of all the things that you just mentioned, because the first time they did run after they completed the first down, 1st and 10 at the 21, 0-yard gain. They don't run the football there. They decide to throw the football, and they killed 5 seconds.
Think about this. That sequence that you just talked about, I looked up an ellipsis in the snake pit said, wasn't Anthony talking about Matt LaFleur being fired in Green Bay and winding up in Atlanta? We'd be fortunate to have a head coach that gets a team to a playoff. So this is not dogging Matt LaFleur at all. But there is some interesting similarities. Do you remember the catch that Romeo Doubs had along the sidelines on that drive? The drive that Marsh was just talking about? Was a remarkable catch. Julio Jones had a remarkable catch along the sidelines that people won't remember because of the way they lost. But he had an unbelievable catch to get them into New England territory in that game. They had a holding call that backed them out of field goal range. Green Bay had a delay of penalty that backed them up a little bit. Atlanta kept the ball in the air instead of running the ball and getting back into field goal range. Green Bay essentially did the same thing. Atlanta never kicked a field goal. Green Bay missed the field goal. These are all decisions that wind up leading you to what happened. It wasn't just they got conservative. It's a whole game, and where you seize control of that game. All right, we'll dive into this from a Bears perspective because we really haven't talked about them. We got to get to Jeremy Rutherford. He's our Blues insider. We'll talk to him about the Broberg injury and the contract next on 101 ESPN.
Circa Sports now available here in the lovely state of Missouri. My buddy Derek Stevens, the owner of Circa Sports, he had a vision a long time ago, just creating the world's largest sports book in a casino. And he did that. And now what they've done, they've put the world's largest sports book in the palm of your hand. And so on a daily basis now, you can jump in on any sport that's available. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball when it's in season, all of those sports, college football. You jump in and you can play. You can have the player props, the live betting, or the parlays. They've also got great lines on all futures bets, too. So if you think there's somebody that's going to win the Stanley Cup and they've got good odds right now, get on it over there at Circa Sports. You can find the app, by the way, in any app store or the Google Play Store. It's a white logo. Make sure you click on that one, download that, and then you're ready to bet like a pro over there at Circa Sports. So please don't miss out on any of the action. Remember to download that app today. That's Circa Sports, the white logo app, and join in on all the excitement. Must be 21 or older. For problems gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
The Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford, on 101 ESPN.
JR is brought to you by Evergreen Wealth Strategies, helping everyday people every day. Visit evergreen-ws.com.
Fast on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Collier and Thompson phone line. We're joined by our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford. Of course, JR with The Athletic. JR, how you doing?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Obviously, some concern about Philip Broberg, and of course, we'll dive into the contract that he signed. But what can you tell us about the injury?
Yeah, he was not on the ice today, and I was at practice, and we spoke to Jim Montgomery afterward. He acknowledged that Philip Broberg is in the concussion protocol, and he's day-to-day, but they said they like the progress. And I said to Monty, what do you call progress these days? Like, concussions, ever since you go back to that David Prine concussion where he missed 97 games, just what do they deem progress? And he said, no headaches, and he was able to work out today, and doubtful tomorrow just because he's in the protocol, but they like the fact that he was feeling pretty good today.
Jerry, I'm going to ask you a question that I get asked quite a bit here around town. It's a fairly easy question, but I want to hear your answer to it. What's wrong with the Blues?
You know what? I was like, it can't be what's wrong with the Blues. This has to be something that is not what's wrong with the Blues.
No, I'm not going to do that to you.
Simple question, Jared. Just answer it.
I love when I get around people who've had a few wobbly pops and, hey, what's wrong with the Blues? Why are they playing so bad? Well, you know what?
I don't know.
What do you think, sir?
Before you ask your question, I got to tell you that, Jamie, you know how it is. Like, you go around town and people are always asking questions, right? Well, you want to let them voice their opinion, and so I do. Hey, here, have the floor. Tell me what you think. And I had one guy, he talked for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I was listening. And then at the end of the conversation, he goes, I just think TJ Oshie is going to be a good defenseman. And I'm thinking, did I just listen to 10 minutes of this guy talking and he thinks Oshie's a defenseman? So, you got to be careful whose thoughts you listen to.
You sure do. I'd say narrow it as far as a question is concerned. What are you seeing from this team on the special teams that, in particular, the power play, that, has them struggling right now?
Yeah, 25th on the power play, 28th on the PK. The special teams, it's been tough all season long. And, I think big picture, it just ties into the offense and the lack of execution there and the confidence, 5-on-5. And sometimes the power play, you get the touches and you get the goals and it can be a pick-me-up, but it has not been that way for the Blues. I will say, once again, they were working on it again today. Steve Ott, hollering out some orders. And, I did see today, and I'm not trying to promise anything, but a lot of communication among the players, Jordan Carey, Braden Shen, a lot of those guys, Jimmy Snuggerud, huddling up in between reps and talking and pointing and doing that thing. Now, is that going to lead to a power play goal against Carolina tomorrow night? I don't know, but just a tough goal. And I think it just comes down to the lack of execution among those top players who are on that unit.
Jeremy Rutherford joining us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. What can you tell us then, Jer, about any sort of changes that could be coming, whether it's the power play, whether it's other different, changes when it comes to the lines, anything? Because that's, I think, what fans are most frustrated about. Like, okay, well, it's not working. Well, when will they find something that will?
Yeah, I think their hands are tied. These guys are just going to have to produce for there to be any significant, uptick in offense, whether it's 5-on-5 or the power play. And, interestingly, this isn't this Broberg injury that's on the defense. It's been this year, the injuries have all come up front. But now it looks like they're going to get Nick Bukestad back in the lineup tomorrow. Dylan Holloway, I believe, was skating over the weekend. Pius Suter also skating over the weekend. Both those guys coming back from the high ankle sprains. No timetable on them at the moment. But it's going to come down to these guys that are out there. And they've juggled the lines again, and part of that, a little bit necessity. But you'll see different lines tomorrow night against the Carolina Hurricanes. But you look at, Robert Thomas tied for the team lead, 11 goals. Jordan Kyrou still stuck on 8 goals. Pavel Buchnevich, if the Blues were going to have a chance to compete this season, then those numbers needed to be a lot higher. And that's not to pin it all on them. There's been a ton of things go wrong this year. We just talked about the special teams. But the lack of production from those big three and others has been a key to where we're at today.
JR, at this time of the year, and in particular when you have a team like the Blues that are struggling, let's just say there are a lot of rumors out there. What are you hearing from some of your counterparts that are, ear to the ground, trying to figure out what the rumors are, if they're true, if they're not? When it comes to the Blues, what are you hearing?
So if you go back a couple months, it was kind of let out nationally that Doug Armstrong is open for business. And the feedback that I got from people around the league was that Doug has said that about 3 years in a row. And I think executives around the league felt it's not necessarily a situation where he's ready to make some moves. In part, that's kind of to light a fire under some guys. So that was a couple months ago. Now I think that you look at the situation that he is completely open for business. And this week at The Athletic, you guys probably saw it, but, top 35 guys in the league on Chris Johnston's trade board, and the Blues had 5 of them. And for the first time, Robert Thomas checked in at number 11. And I don't think, knowing CJ, Chris Johnston, and talking to him, he doesn't just put guys' names on that board. He doesn't. He puts a lot of work into that, makes a lot of phone calls, and explaining kind of where that stuff comes from. Here in St. Louis, you talk to the Blues, Doug Armstrong, obviously he's close to the vest. He's not going to drop clues on that stuff. But CJ is talking to execs around the league. And so when Doug Armstrong makes a phone call or sends out an email to fellow execs and says, hey, what about this situation? What about this guy? Would you be interested in this guy? Other teams hear that, and some of them relay it to CJ, and that's how guys' names pop up on the board. So I don't have any details. I just know that if somebody were to put in a phone call to Doug Armstrong about any of his players, he's picking that phone up.
JR, if the Blues are to move off of one of the core players, the 3 that we've been talking about, what does that do for the whatever that Doug Armstrong had called it? He said it's over. Do you think that the Blues would be going backwards, or do you think that this would push the whatever forward? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think the best answer is it depends what they get back in return. If you get an established, productive offensive player for a Jordan Kyrou or a Robert Thomas, perhaps you can still compete. But look, you weren't competing with those guys, right now. So who's that player that's coming in, and why is his team trading them? And is he going to be able to produce here? I think is the biggest question. But if the Blues, Doug Armstrong he said it a couple months ago when we talked to him, he said that he's looking for not assets, not draft picks, I should say, but players that fit that age bracket that they want to bring in, like they did with Broberg and Holloway, who can come in here and help out for the next few years. So let's say they did move a Robert Thomas or a Jordan Kyrou and brought in a couple, good prospects, 24, 25 years old. I don't want to say it pushes it back, it sets it back, but it certainly doesn't give anybody reason to believe that, you can finish in the top 3 in the Central next year. So, I think a move of that type might be a step forward in what the Blues are trying to accomplish, but it certainly isn't going to put them back in contention anytime soon.
Let's say the Blues do nothing, JR, as far as moving one of the big 3. What do you think that does to their outlook for this next season and season after? Because you just brought up an interesting scenario that a lot of times you make a trade like this, it might set you back or take a step backwards or a half a step backwards and whatnot. But where do you think this team goes if they keep the current core?
I think that there would be a lot of questions. I think that, and I'm trying to be fair on both sides here because it's tough. Like when you look at Robert Thomas, is he not producing because he's not playing well, or is he not producing because people on the other end of the passes, aren't finishing plays? So I think it's probably a little bit of both. But I think if you look at the Blue situation and realize that, yes, they could trade a Justin Falk, they could trade a Braden Shen, they could trade a Jordan Binnington, those are targets that you can look at and say, hey, that makes sense. These guys are getting older. There's guys that are ready to come in and replace them. And if there's interest out there, you can get rid of some of the term that's left over on some of those contracts by moving them. But are you really moving into the future? And is Alexander Steen taking this team, to contention level in 2-3 years? if Jordan Kyrie, Robert Thomas, Pavel Vucinovic, and their contracts are still on the payroll. And I think a lot of people would wonder, and I think a lot of people don't think that that those three are proving that they can be the type of core that you can build around. So I think if next season the puck drops and those three are still on the roster, I think there would be some questions around St. Louis.
JR, good stuff as always, man. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll check back with you next week.
Yep, sounds good, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you. That's Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues Insider with The Athletic. At JP Rutherford is where you can follow him on Twitter. Who's to blame for the inexcusable, I'll call it, inexcusable loss for the Eagles? And did A.J. Brown just play his last game with the Eagles? That's next on 101 ESPN.
How about an ice cold Zwickle Light? Oh, so good too, Anthony. They've got cans and bottles.
Nice.
Yeah, so nice. And those bottles, you put them in a little bucket with some ice. Maybe you're watching the Blues game or you're watching a football game, whatever it is. Crack that one open. Oh, tastes so good. Once it hits your lips, we all know that one. It's crisp, clean, refreshing. Only 95 calories, 3.7 carbs. There are other beers in this category. Let me tell you something about Zwickle Light. It actually tastes like a beer. Some of those other ones, a little bit watery. Yeah, so what, But yes, you pop open a Zwickle Light, you take a nice sip, you're going to know right away you're drinking a quality beer that is brewed here locally by quality St. Louisans. It is the unofficial beer of St. Louis hockey. It's the official beer of the Rivers House, I can tell you that much. We absolutely love it. And so do all our friends that come over and visit and hang out and open up his Zwickle Light. So please get to your nearest store. Available almost everywhere, including my friends over at Dirt Cheap. Check it out. Get your Zwickle Light cans and bottles. Once again, for anything else that you're looking for information on regarding Urban Chestnut, visit urbanchestnut.com. Again, that's urbanchestnut.com. Live your light style, St. Louis.
the start of the show today, I think we all discussed one of the biggest whiffs from us was looking at the 49ers and thinking, well, there's no way they're going to be able to win in Philadelphia yesterday, given all the injuries that they had. Made sense, I guess, in theory, but then the 49ers did exactly what they did all year. They overcame their injuries and they won. One of the biggest things, I think, to come out of that game specifically was you look at what Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh have done with less, basically, because they've had to go so far into their depth chart. They've overcome the injuries with brilliant coaching, putting guys in the right position, and then, of course, you did get a little bit of luck and some execution. On the other side, you look at what the Eagles did. They're coming off the Super Bowl win. They had their coordinators, at least one, Kellen Moore, plucked. He was hired in New Orleans. Nick Sirianni, for the second straight year, had to rehire an offensive coordinator. It might have been third straight year. And he chose Kevin Petula.
His buddy.
It did not go well. That offense was disjointed all season long. And if you watch that game, it looked eerily similar to the previous Eagles games. The run game was okay in flashes, even though you had Saquon Barkley. The run game was inconsistent overall. Once the 49ers started to generate a little pressure, Jalen Hurts would just look to make the easy check down throw. Not enough plays were made. A.J. Brown dropped at least two passes, one big one over the middle. Mm-hmm. And outside of Dallas Goedert in the red zone, the Eagles really couldn't score. The whole thing looked disjointed. And to me, that goes to the head coach. Your roster is loaded. It's not like a Buffalo Bills situation where you're like, man, run defense is weak, receivers are sketchy, but at least you got Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Top to bottom, the Eagles have one of the best rosters in football. And that offense looked disjointed? I don't care that Lane Johnson didn't play. He's a huge component. But it's not as if that Eagles offense didn't show you exactly who they were damn near every week this season. And it just finally caught up to him, and it caught up to him in the worst possible way. And I don't think Nick Sirianni did he do anything to kind of flip the switch back in his, balance the scales a little bit, or have the scales go back in his favor? Or did he just sit there and kind of argue with A.J. Brown on the sidelines?
Yeah, so a couple things. One, what are you running down the sidelines arguing with your player for?
Right. He said he was trying to get A.J. Brown off the field because they were punting.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
A.J. Brown was off the field. By the time he ran down there, he was off the field and then turned around to come back and have words with Sirianni. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? And why is your assistant coach, who was right beside you, not running down the sidelines and telling him to go? Whatever the case, he can make up whatever reason was. The problem is it's not the first confrontation between these two guys. It's not the first problems that we've seen. A.J. Brown started last year with things that he'd say, and then this year, social media posts that were cryptic, some non-cryptic, some right to the point. Jalen Hurts had to deal with A.J. Brown and answering the questions about the receiver, and then the coach had to deal with it. Like, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles today, two things I'm doing. I'm firing Nick Sirianni for looking like he has no control over his team for the whole season, and even almost his entire tenure there. Mm. Like, the team was just so good it overcame his lack of, I don't even know, organization or control or whatever the heck it is. Sirianni yelling at fans and doing, like, he's been a wacko the entire time. But we forgave him. Why? Because they were winning.
Yeah, they couldn't say they shut my mouth.
Yeah, they were winning. You're like, okay, maybe they like it. Maybe this is the way it works. Maybe it's totally a Philly thing. He'd be fired today. If I was the owner, he's fired today, and my general manager or whoever, next order of business is finding somewhere else for A.J. Brown. That guy's a disruption. He is. He didn't just take shots at the coaching staff, took a shot at his quarterback. It's always something with this guy. I'd take a guy with a little less talent that shuts his mouth and goes to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of told us who they were all year. Mm-hmm.
And I believe them, but again, like Jamie just said, he won last year.
They did. So I think that I felt as if they could, and I said it earlier, flip the switch and get back to the team that we saw last season. That just wasn't the case. They showed us who they were. Mm-hmm. basically all year. They won games that I thought maybe they shouldn't have won. They lost games in ways in which I'm like, yeah, this is the team that they have been showing all year long. They're losing some of these games, and it showed yesterday. I don't know why I believed in this team heading into Wild Card Weekend. Maybe it was because
they overcame things.
That's probably what it was,
Yeah.
but I'm with Jamie. You got to move on, man. Like there are names out there right now that I just think, or if anything, get a new offensive coordinator, somebody that like has real experience, like that is proven.
That is a must. Why did he win a year ago? Why did Nick Sirianni win a year ago?
Because he had a offensive coordinator good enough to become a head coach.
Yep.
And Vic Fangio.
Exactly. And the defense wasn't a problem yesterday. Obviously they lost, so the defense is culpable a little bit. But Vic Fangio was the defensive coordinator. He's good. If you're Nick Sirianni, you are highly dependent on your coordinators. So at the very least, the OC's gone. At the very least.
And the two coordinators,
the defensive coordinator.
No, Vic Fangio he's solid.
The two coordinators he had the first time they went to the Super Bowl under Nick Sirianni, both head coaches. Now one ended up getting fired.
But still, good enough to become head coach.
But good enough to become a head coach.
Yeah.
So we got the text line, and I expected this because we literally made the same mistake.
Yeah.
From the 314 says, fired, he just won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't. He just got eliminated by a team that was depleted by injuries. He won a Super Bowl last year. And another text we got was, the Eagles only made the... wait, don't know. It jumped.
Toggled on.
Eagles still won 11 games this year. Wild take to fire Sirianni. Really?
That's fine. If you're
that much into Philadelphia Eagles fandom, you're blinded by it.
But I wonder if these are Eagles fans.
Well, I don't know.
Because I'd be interested.
We did
just
have
genuinely interested in what an Eagles fan today is thinking about his head coach.
We have one from the 314. It's not actually about Nick Sirianni. Eagles fan here. Patullo is to blame. One example, guy called the same play back-to-back on the last third and fourth down. AJ will stay because his dead money, if traded, is an insane amount, almost $60 million, if I remember correctly. So it sounds like the blame is placed on the offensive coordinator, and that's more than likely what's going to happen. But if things don't...
But who picked him?
Sirianni.
If things don't change, I don't think Sirianni will be fired. I think he should. But if he is not, I think he's got one more year because this roster is too good to be getting knocked out having home field advantage in Wild Card Weekend.
That's the problem. Because every team that lost this weekend, you can point to certain things. Carolina didn't have a winning record in the regular season. Gave it all they could against the Rams team that they beat early in the year. They fell short. They got Stafford, right? Weren't supposed to win that game anyways. Packers could not run the ball in the second half. Never got control of the game. Really bad final sequence of events there to lead up to the missed field goal.
They ended their season on a terrible note. They lost 4 games in a row heading into, and I know like one of those they had Clayton Tune playing. Jordan Love got injured. Still, though, you lost 4 games going into the playoffs. That's not a recipe for success.
Right. Jacksonville, first-time head coach in the playoffs, had the Bills beat and got Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The Chargers last night, the offensive line was a problem all year. Mm-hmm. Going back to the start when you lost your 2 offensive tackles for the season. Weren't good enough. Probably weren't going to win that game. Eagles. Well, that's a great roster. Hell of a roster. Had a home game. Defending champs. Facing a banged-up 49ers team. What's the excuse? By the way, you ran 4 verticals on that final play. You called a timeout.
And you threw into triple coverage.
You called the timeout.
That was the biggest. I'm like, why did he just throw it into 3 guys?
You called the timeout. You had 3 remaining. So even if you don't pick that up, it was going to be hard. Don't get me wrong. It was 43 seconds left. Mm-hmm. But you had the 3. You took the timeout to get the right play call. Okay. But then you ran 4 verticals and you had Jalen Hurts. Either his, we'll blame Hurts on that one. You throw into triple coverage? Hell, even if Dallas Goedert miraculous comes up with that, I don't think he's in the end zone.
No, he's not.
You had one-on-one. I think it was A.J. Brown at the top. And granted, he had hands like, a bricklayer. Yeah. Actually, not bricklayers are probably pretty. They got outstanding hands. Yeah,
but they're mangled probably.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Strong hands though.
Yeah. A.J. Brown struggled yesterday to catch the ball, but you got one-on-one coverage on the outside. It was a disaster offensively last night. By the way, somebody brought up in the snake pit, might have been Bear, said that he's got an Eagles fan, and this is just one case, Eagles fan that said both the head coach and the OC got to go. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
By the way,
if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm pissed.
They didn't need to get into the end zone on that final play. They still could have gotten a first down.
Time, correct.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. So even if he comes up with a miraculous catch on that, he's set up.
It was still a
four
bad
verticals.
decision.
Yeah, it wasn't a good day.
Understand this. 4 verticals is you got 4 wide receivers going straight up the field. What that means is all of them are going to be covered to some degree. It's either they win on the outside and they beat the corner of the end zone, but there's not a lot of field to play with there. And the second thing is you're not designing anyone open. It's not like somebody's going to flash open at some point, or you got, depending on what the defense does, you have an opportunity to free somebody open based on the coverage. You just ran 4 verticals straight up the field.
Well, yeah, that final sequence of events was just
terrible.
First of all, you take a sack on 1st and 10, 2nd and 11, deep right, and then the on 3rd down, the game could have been over there with Devontae Smith almost getting blown up and tip ball or whatever.
Yeah, that could have been a pick.
I didn't like that final sequence of events, but that sort of was a microcosm of what we witnessed all season.
Yeah, credit the Niners. Credit the Niners, man. That's a big win. They overcame a lot, and we'll see what they can do next weekend. They got Seattle, right? So they go to Seattle. Rams go to the Bears.
Yes.
It's going to be some good games. NFC West, three teams still alive. That was one hell of a division this year. All right, Sports Six Pack is up next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. If you got a question for us, send it in there. Sports Six Pack next. Well, we got one more game for Wild Card Weekend. What better way to watch the game than to play an underdog as well? Underdog, super easy to play. Just choose whether or not players are going to go higher or lower on their stats. So, for example, Kenneth Gainwell is going to have, I think, a pretty decent game tonight because Aaron Rodgers is probably going to throw the ball short. They love to use Kenneth Gainwell in both the running and receiving game. I like a lot of Kenneth Gainwell's stats tonight. So, for example, higher than 33.5 receiving yards, higher than 4.5 receptions. Even if you want to do fantasy points, you can do that. Kenneth Gainwell higher than 10.45 fantasy points. Let's couple that with one of the Texans players. I think Higgins winds up having a decent game tonight. If you go down to his stats, I like Jaden Higgins to have higher than 2.5 receptions. I think that number's too low. Maybe you want to look at it, though, and take some of the lowers. You might want to take Aaron Rodgers to go lower than 204.5 passing yards because you love the Texans' defense. Everyone play it at underdog is completely up to you, but play it at underdog. It's a great chance to win, 5,000 times your money when it comes to playing at underdog. Just got to get your entries right. If you haven't played underdog yet, they're giving away a bonus entry for a quarterback. It's basically a gimme. So choose whether or not Aaron Rodgers or CJ Stroud will go high or lower on their stats, and they just give you the play. It's great. Underdog's outstanding. You play right here in Missouri. Download the app today. Use my promo code Anthony to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. You can use that promo code Anthony at Underdog, where you can make plays and win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.nspgambling.org.
Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Tonight, we wrap up Wild Card Weekend in the NFL as the Steelers take on the Texans. Pre-game for that one right here on 101 ESPN starts at 6. Kickoff is at 7:15. Coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack. So get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll do part 1 of our six-pack next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. If you got a question for us, it's time for the Sports Six-Pack. Send in your question to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Marsh, question 1, please.
Question number 1.
From the 636. So I'm sure you guys are not NASCAR fans, but NASCAR is going back to the Chase Points Championship format. No winner take all, 4-team playoffs. At the last race of the year, just simple, who has the most points at the end of the season wins the championship. NASCAR made this mistake of changing their playoff format multiple times and lost fans because of it, because they couldn't keep up. This reminds me of the college football playoff. If you keep changing the rules or how many teams are in, fans will leave the sport. Am I wrong?
It's a unique take. I actually am worried about the other side of it. If you don't change the restrictions that you have on the committee, i.e. having to have a certain amount of conference champions that are ranked high in the playoff, then you lose college football fans. I understand what you're saying with the NASCAR. I follow NASCAR a tiny bit, and it does get confusing the way they structure their scoring now, even not just even season long, but race to race. But when it comes to college football, I think they're trying to figure out what works, and I actually applaud them for making the changes that they know need to be made, as opposed to saying, well, 5 years we'll get to it. Last year, for example, they knew it was a mistake to have teams like Boise State or whoever it was Boise State was one of the teams, have a bye. Why? So they flipped that and made sure that the top 4 teams had a bye, not just the top 4 conference title winners. This year, I think the mistake was, we want some of the little guys to have a chance. Okay, great, but the way you structured it allowed 2 little guys in. Now you go back to the drawing board and maybe you think, okay, well, we just got to take the top 12 teams. If a little guy is ranked, and I'm using the term loosely, if one of the smaller programs get into the top 12, great, they earned it. If not, then
at least you have the 12 best teams.
We have the 12 best teams. I don't know if they're going to go that way, but I actually think they need to, in the early stages, figure out what works best, use some common sense, and I don't think it will be confusing, unlike, I agree with the texture, what NASCAR has become.
Yeah, I'll just use the NHL. And I think that you should be able to change things back to the format you had before when one doesn't work. Mm-hmm. The current playoff format right now, if the season ended tomorrow, the 3 best teams in the NHL are in the Central Division. Mm-hmm. So that means Minnesota and Dallas, who are the second and third best teams in the NHL, would play each other in the first round.
Doesn't make sense.
Where's the reward for a good regular season? There is none.
Right.
In fact, what they should do is lose more and slide it down a little bit and maybe get a different opponent. Mm-hmm. It just makes no sense. I think that the Eastern Conference should go 1 through 8. Regardless of what division you are, 1 through 8, 8 plays 1, 2 plays 7, and so on and so on. Mm-hmm. And Western Conference, same thing. Go back to that.
Which is what it used to be.
It's what it used to be.
Same thing in the NBA. It used to be that, and maybe it still is. But now they get the play-in games.
You get a little bit of a reward. Like the argument was back then, there wasn't as much parity. So first place playing 8th place was almost like a 4-game sweep. Mm-hmm. That's an easy series. It's a blood donor series, right? But now it's not like that.
Unless you're Arizona or LA.
Yeah. Well, but that should be your reward. You should be that should be your reward. if you're a first place team.
But now there's not as much difference between 1 and 8. But there still is a difference. So that the first place team in the conference gets rewarded for being first place. The second place team doesn't have to play a third place team.
Right. And if you're the 8th place team and you snuck in, okay, well, you got a lot of work to do now.
You got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, too, they had the top 3 division winners would get the first 3 seeds no matter what the actual standings were.
That was, yes, I'm going back to the 80s.
You're just saying 1 through 8.
1 through 8, man.
Which I think would be great.
I don't care if you win your, like, because right now, the Pacific division is nowhere near as good as the top of the Pacific is nowhere near as good as the top of the Central. So why should the top of the Pacific division be rewarded with automatic second place because they won their division? No, you got 47 points. That puts you in 6th place. You're 6th place.
Yeah,
that's it.
Question number 2.
From the 618, would you guys rather have 2 really solid, I'm talking Cy Young candidates every year, or 1 position player that is in the MVP conversation every year? Basically another Albert in his first 5 years with us.
Regular listeners aren't going to be surprised with what I said. Give me, what'd you say, the 2 Cy Youngs?
Two Cy Young
candidates? Yeah, give me the 2 Cy Young candidates.
Over Albert Pujols?
Yeah.
Yeah, but your Cy Young candidate could be Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson.
Sure. If I know I can go into a short series, needing to win 3 games, and I got 2 Cy Young candidates, sign me up. Because that one hitter may be cold. Not that Albert ever was in the postseason, but you get my point.
So, okay. What if you do get an Albert, but then you're allowed like a Chris Carpenter and an Adam Wainwright?
I still want the 2. I want the pitching. I want the pitching. I saw the.
I don't know why you hate Albert.
I saw the Giants win through.
He does, doesn't he?
I don't hate Albert.
Does not like Albert Pujols.
That's not what I heard.
Don't you dare.
Clearly,
don't you dare.
Running off on me.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Get rid of him, he said.
I've seen the Giants win 3 World Series without a dude. Buster Posey's really good, but he wasn't Pujols. I saw the Kansas City Royals win a World Series without. I mean, their offense was okay.
Yeah, in fairness, the Mets weren't trying in the World Series, right?
Oh, I think they were. Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, give me the. Well, what would you guys take?
Give me Albert Pujols any day of the week, man. I mean, I love Albert. I don't know what your problem is.
Albert Pujols type. Not Albert Pujols.
Oh, okay.
Albert Pujols type.
So 700 home runs? Yeah, sign me up. I don't care what. Call him whatever you want. 700 home runs. Longevity. It was great throughout most of his career. His down years were still good years for certain players.
Because he wasn't wearing the Cardinals.
Yeah, sign me up for that. Because odds are your Cy Young prospect 2 years in is going to need Tommy John surgery. We lost him
It's
for
not
a
part
year.
of the deal.
You know, it is, but I'm thinking ahead. You're not.
Wow, that's
Boy, you just twisted that around.
A little bit.
Dare I say this is a real Stalter's choice?
Okay, Marsh, come on.
What? It's tough. I mean, 2 Cy Young Award candidates every year, or an Albert Pujols-esque type player. It's a tough one.
What if we just take 1 Cy Young? Can we get Albert too?
That's what Marsh just said.
It'd be pretty nice.
You guys are already brokering deals.
Yeah.
I can't fault you. All right, we'll carry over the 3rd question to the second part of the Sports Six Pack next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
It's Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN. Time for part 2 of our Sports Six Pack. Your opportunity to send in any question you want. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. All right, we left off with question 3.
Question number 3.
Hard-hitting question number 3 from the 314. For the last several years, you guys have held Mo to a high standard and have held him accountable, as you should, and have criticized his decisions. Why have you not done the same for Army, whose track record is no better than Mo's? Army is very, very rarely held accountable for his terrible decisions, and there's been a ton.
Well, I'll just answer for myself. For me, I actually think that, look, every GM is going to have their mistakes, their hits and misses. It's part of the job. You think about the decisions that we have to make on a day-to-day basis. We're going to get a lot of those decisions right and wrong throughout the course of a day. Theirs are magnified. So for me, can I justify what the decision was or what ultimately they put into that decision? Can I justify it? Does it make sense to me? Even if I disagree with it, do I see the long-term view of it? I have, outside of not bringing back Petro and just making the change there, I don't criticize a lot of his moves. Whereas Mo, it just seemed like he was doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I've said that it's not all on Mo. The DeWitts are culpable big time in that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there are some budget restrictions and things like that. But I didn't get the sense that Mo was still ahead of moves like I have with Army. The latest, of course, being the Broberg and Holloway trades. That was unique. It was out of the box. It was different. And he stole 2 guys from Edmonton that he had no business stealing from. I hadn't seen that out of Mo in a long time. So maybe it feels like I'm just more apt to criticize Mo, or have been more apt to criticize Mo and let Army off the hook. Whereas I just think that I got to the point with Mo where his moves were predictable. They weren't necessary, even like signing Lance Lynn and Gibson. Like, there was just a lot of safe, kick the can down the road moves. Nothing unique. Didn't feel like he was really trying or going for it. I understand you have a budget to work within, but there was no counter move. There was no smart move. He held on to guys too long. Whereas Army, I don't see just an overall gluttony of bad decisions. The Petro one, certainly. This contract right now with Pavel Buchnevich looks really bad. Really bad. There's been some bad moves, but I've understood the decisions at the time. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that communicating with your fan base in a mostly factual way goes a long way as well. I think that Cardinals fans, for the greater part of probably almost 10 years now, have felt duped or talked down to by John Mozeliak, because he would speak one way and act differently. Like when he talked about, we're going to improve the minor league system, we're going to do all this stuff, and we're going to draft and develop, we're going to rebuild and all that. And then he brought in like older guys. And like he basically kept doing the exact same behavior, talking about something different. Whereas Army, not everything he's done has been good. Mm-hmm. There's no question. There's no question that certain deals that he's signed currently that are on the roster, they might end up being great or they might end up being terrible. Right now, you talked about the Booch deal, doesn't look great. Mm-hmm. Right now, the Cam Fowler deal, that extension doesn't look great right now. But in fairness to Army, Pavel Buchnevich had been a pretty good player, and he was going to get that on the open market. So not only Army as a GM/president was going to give him that money, other guys were going to give him that money, maybe even more money. And as far as Cam Fowler's concerned, why would you think that things would go sideways? fantastic run last year with him. He was a great trade by Army. It just hasn't worked out so far this year. There's nothing that says Cam Fowler can't bounce back this year or even next year and go on to play that way again. So I'm here to criticize the mistakes. Sure. But they're going to happen. Show me one GM. There's only one GM so far that I can think of that hasn't had a miss yet. And that's Bill Zito down in Florida. Fired the coach, brought in Paul Maurice, made a huge trade for Matthew Tkachuk. He's added pieces. Brad Marchand, he circumvented the salary cap. He's had guys take less money, spread out the deals longer. So far, he's made every right decision. But next year, the year after, some of those decisions are going to start to look not great as players get older and those contracts are still there.
Yeah, I think with the Blues, I'm at the point where I'm more frustrated with the players because I had expectations for them. I don't necessarily think my expectations for the Cardinals were or are as high as they are for the Blues because of what Mo has constructed in terms of the roster. Like you mentioned a few of the names. And no offense to those guys, they've had great careers, but they're at the back half of their career.
Yeah.
Like, what are you really expecting here? We're seeing some flashes from the young guys, but they're not old enough at this point to really drive a team.
Sure.
So I think when we talk about Mo, we talk about things because we've seen them for, like what Jamie said, for like 10 years. It's been like the same thing. But like when the Cardinals were making a run, I think of like 2019 and some of those years after, I was frustrated with the players because I had expectations during that stretch and I don't think they met them.
Sure.
I think there is more blame with Mo and even the ownership group for the Cardinals more so than the Blues. But to me, it's the players, man. Like, you got to play. You got to play to the level that you're capable of playing. They're not doing that right now. To me, it falls on them.
I know we're going to get to the Gauntlet, but this kind of sparked some comments. I'll just read 3 from the Snake Pit. Grizzly Bear says, Armstrong has always been up front with the fan base. Alternatively, that usually buys you time and goodwill, kind of what Jamie said. Matt said, Army may have overestimated some of the benefits of a few moves. However, he never made us feel, just toggled on me. He never made us feel like we were idiots for thinking he made a mistake. And the one and only Splashback Deuce says, Army has never not tried to improve. Mo would take clear half measures or avoid deals.
And the 618 chimes in, Army is also better at fixing his mistakes.
And willing to admit them.
That's a great idea. That's a great thought as well. Yeah. Because you're going to make mistakes, right? How quickly are you to move on from it? The Eagles, I know we just hammer the Eagles, but the Eagles drafting, what's his face, Jalen Reagor over A.J. Brown. No, Justin
Jefferson.
Okay, well, you made a mistake. What do? You move on from Jalen Reagor. You made the move for A.J. Brown, wound up going to 2 Super Bowls, winning one of them. So how quickly are you to make a mistake and move on from it? Your guy, Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo wasn't ready for the job. Sorry, Mike Vrabel's ready. We got to let you go. We're bringing in Mike Vrabel. It's okay to make mistakes. When you recognize them, how quickly are you to move on and fix them? Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN. I love Auto Centers Nissan. They've got all kinds of great deals going on, but it's not just the deals that you want to head down there for. It's the fact that they've got a wide selection of vehicles. I don't know how many of you have tried to purchase a vehicle or have at least gone through the process, and you get to a dealership after doing some research online, and they don't have the exact vehicle that you researched online at the dealership. And they say, well, we got something similar. Or, we can get that vehicle, but it might take a few months. Not at Auto Centers Nissan. With over 1,000 new and used vehicles in one easy location, just minutes from South County and Jefferson County, you're not settling, you're choosing the right vehicle. And right now, during their Triple Zero Advantage sales event, they've got on new Nissan models, 0 down payments, 0% APR for 60 months, and 0 payments until summer. So we're talking about real breathing room for your budget and the perfect time to make your next move. I had mentioned the over 1,000 new and used vehicles. Every new Nissan comes with a 30-day return promise, so you can buy with confidence. If you're shopping used, they got you covered there as well. Used vehicles, select used vehicles, qualify for 0 down and no payments for 3 months. And when you finance any new or used vehicle with Auto Centers Nissan, you're protected with their Auto Centers walkaway finance protection, helping shield you from any negative equity that life takes and when life takes an unexpected turn. So 000, serious selection, real protection, all at Auto Centers Nissan. Tell them Anthony Stalter sent you. Shop online at autocentersnissan.com.
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
404, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. And Anthony Stalter. Carey will be back with us on Wednesday, taking a couple of days off. All right, we got Chris back for round 2. Chris beat Jamie on the tiebreaker on Friday, so Chris is back for round 2. What's up, Chris?
How you doing, guys?
Everything's good, man. How's your weekend?
Better than Jamie's.
Whoa!
Oh, you don't know that, Chris. I'll tell you that much.
You're right. After I said that, Jamie, I instantly was like, probably not.
Had a pretty good weekend, my friend.
Yeah. All right. So, Chris, would you like to take on, so there's no CD until Wednesday, would you like to take on Marsh or me next?
I'll go ahead and take you on, Anthony.
All right.
Go.
Good luck to you, Chris. And
Thank you.
Let's roll.
All right, Anthony, good luck to you as well.
Thank you.
Head off to the cone of silence. While he's walking away, Chris, tell my guy Marshy to spin that wheel, please.
Spin the wheel, Marsh.
All right. Any favorites today for you?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see here. You're going to be up against Anthony in football today. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay. All right. All right. Again, you know, but some of our listeners may not know. 4 questions today, each of them worth 2 points. If you use the option, they're worth 1 point, and wrong answers are 0 points. And just like the other day, if we have a tie, we will go to a tiebreaker. Chris, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy, here we go. Question 1. Before the Eagles lost to San Francisco this past week, name the last team to beat the Eagles in the playoffs.
Options.
All right. Was it the Minnesota Vikings, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or Detroit Lions?
I believe it was Tampa Bay. Final answer.
Question number 2. Which team scored the most points in the wild card weekend?
I believe that would be the Bears. Final answer.
All right. 3rd question. Name the 2 teams that beat Miami in the regular season in college football.
Miami. Ute. Let me think here. Texas A&M. And, oh boy, it's going to be one of those putzes in the ACC. Feeling kind of committed here. I'm going to say, oh, dang it anyway. Why did I put myself in this situation? Florida State, final answer. I know that's bad.
Thank you.
Question number 4. Which team beat Arizona State in the Sun Bowl this season?
Oh, it's a big game.
Yeah, that one really stands out for me, I tell you. Arizona State, it was a close game, too. Dang it anyway. Options.
Options are Arizona, Duke, or Virginia Tech.
Duke, final answer.
All right. We'll get our guy Anthony in here. Chris, how you feeling, bud?
Oh, crash and burn.
Yeah, well, we don't know that yet. Anthony's making his way back in here. Anthony, how's the cone of silence today, bud?
It was very silent.
Yeah, it was really busy earlier. Everybody's gone now.
Yeah, no Mike Ryder.
Huh. Yeah. Must be nice. What? Right? Get to go home? Be great.
You know Mike works 24/7.
I know, that's the joke, though.
He's never off.
Our guy Chris spun the wheel. You got football. Anthony?
I like football. Mm-hmm. I haven't had it in a while.
Pack a lunch.
Yeah.
Question 1. Before the Eagles lost to San Francisco this past week, name the last team to beat the Eagles in the playoffs.
Before the Niners. Okay, that's a good question. So last year, obviously, no team did because they won the Super Bowl. Going back the previous year, that was their collapse year. And they had to go on the road and face the Bucks. And the Bucks beat them. Baker Mayfield and Bucks. And then the Bucks went on to Detroit and they lost to the Lions. Jamie's Lions. Beat Jamie's Bucks. Bucks. Tampa Bay Bucks, final answer.
Question number 2. Which team scored the most points in the wild card weekend?
This past one?
Yes.
I don't know. Just clarifying.
It's okay, buddy.
Let's see. Oh, we know it's not the Patriots or the Chargers.
Yeah, pretty safe there.
49ers and Eagles didn't score a ton. The Bills and the Jags didn't. The Bears scored, 31? So it had to be the Rams then. Because I think that was 34-31. Yeah, Rams, final answer.
Question number 3, Jamie.
Name the 2 teams that beat Miami in the regular season in college football.
Louisville, and SMU. Final answers.
And question number 4. Which team beat Arizona State in the Sun Bowl this season?
Arizona State. Oh.
Yeah, Sun Bowl, the one you came in talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll know this with the options. At least I'm hoping so. So can I get those options?
Options are Arizona, Duke, or Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. No. Virginia. What'd you say? Arizona, Virginia Tech, or Duke?
Those are the 3.
I think it was Duke. I think it was kind of a high-scoring game. Yeah, that's my best guess. Duke. Final answer.
Okay. I think we'll just run it. Question 1. Before the Eagles lost to San Fran this past week, name the last team to beat the Eagles in the playoffs. Chris said the Bucks. Anthony said the Bucks. Marshy, answer is?
It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But Anthony did not need the options. Question 2. Which team scored the most points in the wild card weekend? Chris said the Bears. Anthony said the Rams. Answer is?
It is the Los Angeles Rams.
It is the Rams. Anthony did not use the options. Question 3. Name the 2 teams that beat Miami in the regular season in college football. Without the options, Chris said Texas A&M and Florida State. Anthony, without the options, said Louisville and SMU. Answer is?
It is Louisville and SMU.
Yeah, 6-1, Anthony. Final question. Which team beat Arizona State in the Sun Bowl this season? Chris said Duke. Anthony also said Duke. Chris used the options. Anthony did not. Marshy, answer is?
It's the Duke Blue Devils.
Chris.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Oh, we got you today, Chris.
Yeah, sometimes getting your ass kicked up above your shoulders is probably a good thing for you. So take it and learn from it.
Anthony certainly was dialed in today, buddy. Tough one for you.
Anthony taking up for his boy Jamie.
That's how it works around here.
You know, in fairness, you had been partying. You'd been partying all weekend. So it was one of those deals. I caught you. The schedule broke right for me, Chris. That was it.
You don't need to apologize. I'm good. This is not going to. I'm not going to go commit anything, crimes, anything else. I'm good.
Well, okay.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Chris? I hope you're having a great ending to your day. How's that, buddy?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Take care,
Thanks
buddy.
for listening. Thanks for playing.
See you.
Nice.
Anthony, wow.
Did you catch it at the end?
See you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris is a loyal listener.
Yeah,
That was good. That was
good. He talked smack, which was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you took him up behind the woodshed today, which is also fine.
It was a bit of a spanking.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it happens.
It happens.
Sometimes we get spanked.
Sometimes we like it.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it happens.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Mm-hmm. Marshy?
I think that was a great statement to
start the week on.
I was going to say move on from.
Yeah, let's put it behind us.
For sure.
Yeah, we're on to Cincinnati. We're literally doing a show in Cincinnati tomorrow. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're not. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Marsh has got some baseball news from the weekend in What's Trending next on 101 ESPN. Listen, Auto Centers Nissan's got a great offer going on right now. They are with the new year going on, they've got their 000 sales event going on at Auto Centers. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But the bottom line is, when it comes to Auto Centers, they've got a wide selection of vehicles. So let's just start with that. When it comes to shopping at AutoCentersNissan.com, you can peruse their over 1,000 new and used vehicles that they have. But the important part is, will they actually have that car, truck, SUV on their lot? And they will. When you head down to the dealership, the vehicles that you researched online will be there for you to test drive. And I love that, because when it comes to shopping cars at other dealerships, that's not always a guarantee. And right now, I mentioned the deals before, they get their 000 Advantage sales event. That means on select new Nissan models, you can get 0 down payment, 0% APR for 60 months, and 0 payments until summer. So you can check out the new Nissans that also come with the 30-day return promise. You can buy with some confidence there. The 30-day return promise gives you the confidence to know that if you're not completely sold with the vehicle, you can bring it back within 30 days and they'll give you a refund of your money. But if you're shopping used vehicles, select used vehicles, qualify for 0 down and no payments for 3 months. When you finance new or used vehicles at Auto Centers, you're protected with the Auto Centers walk-away finance protection. So 000, Series selection, real protection. Shop online now at AutoCentersNissan.com. When you tell them Stalter sent you, tell them that Stalter sent you when you head down to Auto Centers Nissan in Herculaneum.
Topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and myself, Andrew Marsh. It's time for What's Trending. Anthony, at the end of the Gauntlet segment, you mentioned bringing up some baseball news, and that is what we're going to talk about in What's Trending. Alex Bregman is now a Chicago Cub, 5 years, $175 million deal with the Cubbies. Initial takeaways for you two when it comes to Bregman now being in Chicago?
Well, I didn't think that a win over the Packers in dramatic fashion would be the only thing that the Bears or Chicago fans would be celebrating on Saturday night, but here it comes with Bregman. Obviously a massive upgrade to the middle of the Cubs lineup. The Red Sox were disappointed that they couldn't bring him back. Huge get for a Cubs team that is, unfortunately for us here in St. Louis, in a different park when it comes to competing. So, yeah, the Cubs got better. I mean, I guess the only good thing would be, we know, unfortunately, that the Cardinals aren't, they're rebuilding right now. So the timeline with them and the Cubs doesn't really match up from a competition standpoint. So maybe in a couple of years, Bregman's contract will be an albatross and the Cardinals will start winning again, huh?
That's kind of where I go with it. This means nothing to the Cardinals. It really doesn't. They're not in these waters right now. Hopefully they are in 3 years or so, 2-3 years, where they are going and picking up some big names, spend some big money. Mm-hmm. Not sure about that, but I think the deal is fine for Bregman. I think the Cubs will reap the benefits for a year or two, and then you will see a slow decline to Bregman, and that contract will be one that they maybe don't like so much at the tail end of it.
Sure.
I think this means a lot for the Cardinals in terms of maybe who will be the next third baseman for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, no.
That's where you're going, huh?
That's where I'm going with, yeah. We had someone text in earlier asking if the Cubs just did a solid for the Cardinals this weekend.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think about that? Obviously, Chaim Bloom has traded a few players to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something happens there. I mean, he's probably not my number one choice if I'm Boston, but as the winter rolls along, who knows? Maybe there's a fit there, and the Boston Red Sox become the Boston Cardinals.
I'm sure they'll be real happy about that, too.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on if the Red Sox, who have 23-year-old Marcelo Mayer there, feel as though that he's ready to go. He was a first-round pick back in 2021. He was the 4th overall pick. Big signing bonus to come out of high school that year. I have no idea if he's ready to play a full season. I know in 2025 he did get a cup of coffee with them. I think he played like 40 some odd games. So if they're not ready to turn it over to Mayer full time, maybe it would make sense to bring in a Nolan Arenado. I see them. I see how people are connecting the dots. I understand that. And the Boston Red Sox did show some interest in Arenado a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Call him up then.
Get him on the horn.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Heimer.
All right, guys. Well, let's
buddies.
You guys are?
Yeah, me and Heimer buddies. Saw him out the other night.
Is that what you call him?
Yeah, me and the Heimer.
You guys talk some ball, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Good.
We did. He's actually surprisingly a big hockey fan, too.
All right.
Likes to talk puck.
Good.
I'm like having a hard time actually believing what you're saying, but knowing like you moving around town, I wouldn't be shocked if you actually ran into the guy.
I did.
Oh, so you did?
I did.
I know, but you had this like look on your face where you're like, I'm totally lying.
Marsh.
No.
You're a liar, man.
This guy, he loves his whiskey.
Marshy.
I'm just going to move on.
He does.
It's fish on right now. You know that, right?
I know, but sometimes I just don't know sometimes.
You don't know that, Anthony.
He's so good. He's so good.
Ashley will be here at 5 o'clock tonight. You can ask her.
It's fish on.
She won't lie to you.
No, she won't.
He's got a nickname for him, though, so I don't know.
You think he actually calls him Heimer?
After about 8 old fashions, I did. Hey, Heimer.
That I believe.
Yeah.
Now, you two being buddies, I can't see it.
Wow. He gave me a number. It's his number.
Do you have a drink named after him?
Not yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
He's way more open to the partnership. Mo should have been on that partnership. Could use that cabbage now.
Oh, boy.
Real quick here. We had a lot of people text in about this. Everybody on the Air Comfort Service text line apparently just caught up in what the Columbus Blue Jackets are doing. They fire Dean Evison and hire Bonesy. Rick Bones.
Bones. 70-year-old Bones. Great guy. Had him as an assistant coach with the Coyotes. He had lots of success up in Winnipeg. It's a move that the firing is not so surprising because Columbus is dead last in the Eastern Conference. To me, the surprise is hiring Rick Bones, who kind of stepped away from the game because he's just kind of done.
Mm-hmm. Is he old?
Well, I didn't say that.
No, what do you got against old people?
His wife had some health problems, too, during his last year in Winnipeg. He left the team for like a month to go be with his wife. Scott Arniel stepped in, and then they co-coached together the rest of the way before he decided to walk away. So it's a little surprising to say that, or to see that he's going to jump in with the Columbus Blue Jackets. There certainly are other options available out on the market, but it's tough. The hockey business stinks. Dean Evison coached that Columbus Blue Jackets team last year under really tough conditions. The loss of Johnny Gaudreau. The whole season was kind of, nobody knew what to expect. The NHL had to give them emergency cap relief because of Johnny Gaudreau's unique situation. It was like a very emotional roller coaster, and the Blue Jackets played very well. He had them playing really good hockey. Just wasn't working this year.
All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to play Truth or Overreaction. For example, the Patriots still haven't played anybody good. Truth or Overreaction. That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, I always love getting our guy Stewie on the line, especially when we haven't necessarily chatted with him in a little bit, because he's always got something for us to learn. So what do you got for us today, Stewie?
Anthony, we call it the tug of war, the Trump-Powell tug of war. This is what's happening. Trump is ordering Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities, which is going to cause interest rates to drop, and they have. Today has been one of the biggest lock days in American mortgages history. You can be part of it. Refinance with no closing costs. Get those low rates. Make it happen. In less than 2 weeks, we can get you closed. And you know what? When you're ready to close, you can do it in your home. We'll send a notary out to your house after hours during the weekend. It's easy, it's simple, it's quick, and it saves you lots of money. So take advantage of the political climate and save that money.
Well, I know what I'm doing, Anthony. I'm going to be calling Stewie when we get off the air here and check it out, see if I'm up for refinancing. And this is the information that our listeners need. It's not always purchasing a home. It's not always debt consolidation. It's how about removing or eliminating some of your own debt, which would be lowering your house payments, too. That's a win. And all you got to do is give our guy Stewie a call. His number is 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
Give him a call. Shoot him a text. Tell him you listen to us here on the Fast Lane. He loves hearing that. He loves helping all of our 101 ESPN listeners. If you can't remember the number or anything we said for that matter, what can you do?
You can always Google the Bagel Loan. Stewie, have a great day.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues, they have dropped 3 in a row, a pair of 4-2 losses over the weekend. The good thing is they signed Philip Broberg to a 6-year extension that will keep him here in St. Louis through the 2031-32 season. Blues back in action tomorrow, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pre-game for that one starts at 5:30. Puck drop is at 6:30. Tonight, we have Steelers and Texans to wrap up the NFL wildcard weekend. Pre-game for that one right here on 101 ESPN starts at 6. Kickoff is at 7:15. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're going to play Truth or Overreaction. Why don't we start off with the one that I teased, guys? Truth or Overreaction? Patriots still haven't played anybody good. Because that was the narrative, of course, going into the playoffs. We don't know how good the Patriots really are because they had one of the softest schedules. Then they get a Chargers team that was completely banged up along the offensive line. And Patriots took them behind the woodshed. Truth or overreaction?
This is like one where you go, yes. It's an overreaction because at this point, one would have to believe the Patriots have a good football club. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's kind of a truth because they really haven't played a juggernaut team. But again, they can only beat the team that's in front of them on the other side of the field. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's been a list of teams that we don't deem to be difficult.
Right. And I don't even think that the schedule in and of itself is a reflection on whether or not you're a legit team, because the Patriots, to their credit, handled most of those teams. I mean, outside of the Raiders in week 1, there weren't a lot of games where the Patriots, when they won, didn't win handily or were pretty much in control.
Well, and they did beat the Bills. They went 1-1 with the Bills this season. The Bills are obviously a good football team, so you got to respect that.
And with the way the NFL is set up right now, with parity being what it is, bad teams can win still, depending on what's on, any given Sunday. I think the Bills did quite well. The Patriots did quite well.
I think outside of the Bills, I think there's some truth to this statement, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Patriots aren't a good team. Like what you said, they have handled teams very well. I think there's some teams that haven't played good teams that showed themselves.
Would you be talking about Oregon?
No, we're sticking to the NFL.
I thought he was dragging them one more time.
NFL here.
I'm sure there's another shot coming at the Ducks at some point, and I wouldn't blame them.
You won't hear it from me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Marsh, did you finish your thought there?
Sure.
Okay. The 2 games versus the Panthers shows the Rams are highly flawed.
Yes.
Truth or overreaction?
Truth. It's got to be, right? I mean, offensively, I think the Rams are good. Obviously, the proof is there all season long. Stafford having an MVP-like season. The Rams putting up crazy numbers. But that defense, the Rams should have been able to handle the Panthers way better than what they did. I'm worried about the Rams in their next game. I think the Rams season's over at this point.
And you've been questioning the Bears pretty much all season.
I didn't question them this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I picked them to beat the Packers, and I think that I think Ben Johnson will beat Sean McVay.
Wow. I think there's some truth to this statement as well. I also think that every single team in the playoffs is highly flawed. I don't know if there's one truly dominant team in this playoff field compared to other seasons that we've seen before. Mm-hmm. I think that this is a wide open playoff. I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers beat the Seahawks. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears beat the Rams. On the other side of things, who knows what it looks like, right? Like, the Steelers could win tonight against Houston, and that's a Houston team that we think should handle the Steelers pretty well based on what we witnessed down the stretch from the Steelers outside of that game against Detroit, but Detroit's on a playoff team. I don't know who is going to win these games, which I don't know. Does that make it that much more fun to watch? I think this past week you can make an argument because these teams are so flawed. You can see comebacks. You have no idea what's going to happen at the end of the game outside of what we witnessed last night on Sunday Night Football. Mm-hmm. That game was probably the one where I'm like, this is a lock. Patriots should win this game because I have no trust in Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Yeah. For me, I'll go with overreaction, but I want to highlight the fact that you guys are right. I mean, the Rams are flawed. There's no question about it. But I think when it comes to this matchup specifically, this being the thing that shows it, I said it last week, the Rams corners are very athletic, but they're undersized. They had issues with the Eagles' physical wide receivers. Carolina, the one thing that they do have are bigger physical receivers. I think it's one of the reasons why the Rams struggled to contain Carolina and why Bryce Young had some decent games against them. But clearly this is a team with flaws, as Marsh has mentioned. Every team has some
Marsh
flaws.
hates everybody.
Matt LaFleur should be fired following the Packers' collapse. To me, this is an overreaction.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, come on. Here's what I always look at is if I fire Matt LaFleur, if I'm the Packers and I fire Matt LaFleur, by the end of the day, when he gets all his box of things to move out of his office, does he already have another job? If he does, or if he could, you probably shouldn't be firing him.
Right. Because every team would line up to at least interview the guy.
Not only that, teams would specifically fire coaches to bring him in. It would be the Jim Montgomery effect, to where teams are out there saying, we don't care, we got a coach, we're going to fire him and pick up this guy. He's an incredible football mind. He's still young as far as coaching age is concerned. He would become the number one available coach. He would leapfrog over John Harbaugh immediately.
You think so?
I think so, yes.
Wow.
I do. I really do. And I love Harbaugh, too. Mm-hmm. I just think that he's a more dynamic coach, in my opinion.
Marsh?
I think there's some truth to this. I don't know how you can have mishap after mishap after mishap in playoff situations with this team. Again, I've mentioned it before. The Packers were 1 second away from not being a playoff team. They were a Devin Duvernay 50-plus yard kick return away from not being a playoff team. They have been the 7th seed for almost every single year of the last 4 years. They're lucky that the playoff format changed. Otherwise, they would not be a playoff team. I feel like this roster, with this roster, yes, we always mention, the wide receivers, they're all the same, blah, 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 blah. There's still a solid football team that I think has underachieved under Matt LaFleur. I feel like they should have been in the Super Bowl at least by now with him as the head coach. But there have been certain things that have happened because of him that they have not reached their full potential.
Who do you think they would replace him with? Who would you want? Because that's the other thing, too. You want to fire Matt LaFleur.
They'd probably grab Harbaugh.
So here's the thing about Green Bay. Obviously, we're not an owned franchise. They have gone very, very cheap with head coaching.
They should hire Matt Nagy.
Oh, I get it now. I see it.
In fact, Arthur Smith should go to Green Bay.
He's got a team in the playoffs.
You know what, Marsh? I think you're right. I think they should fire LaFleur, bring in Nagy, and maybe LaFleur's a decent fit for Atlanta. I don't know.
Maybe. He's been there before.
This is Josh Allen's best chances. Yes. This is Josh Allen's best chance to win the Super Bowl. Truth or overreaction?
Truth. And the fact that all the big boys of the AFC are pretty much out. It doesn't mean it's a cakewalk to the Super Bowl for the Bills by any means. They're going to have their hands full with the Patriots. They know that. But this is, in my opinion, this is the best, easiest, air quotes, path to the Super Bowl for Josh Allen.
Wow, I wrote down truth here. The more I think about it, it could be an overreaction based on the defense. He needs to play above and beyond for this team to win, much like what we saw yesterday against the Jags. It is a lot easier when the big, heavy hitter quarterbacks in the AFC are not in the playoffs. So, yes, you could say truth, but I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe there's another year where his defense can actually stop somebody running the football. I think the Jags should have ran the football even more yesterday. You could say maybe that's why they lost the game. I don't know. But I don't know. This one's tough. I've been saying it pretty much all year heading into the playoffs, so I'll stick with it. I'll say truth.
Excuse me, I get choked up when talking about this.
Football's emotional.
Marsh, you almost flipped. I actually am going to flip here. I've been the one that's been saying the team's not good enough. The team, the Bills are. It's the Buffalo Josh Allens. It's not the Buffalo Bills. Like he has elevated this group consistently. But when I think about the quarterbacks that are left, at least in the AFC, with all due respect, I mean Drake May has had an MVP-esque season. But he's still a young QB, just played his first playoff game last night. Bo Nix was in the playoffs last year with the Broncos. They got beat. We'll see if he can elevate Denver. You look at the other AFC quarterbacks, whether that's C.J. Stroud, who does have experience, but he still isn't, he has yet to get the Texans to the AFC title game. And, it's only his third year, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, Rodgers is a Super Bowl, but Rodgers is not the same version. So, yeah, this is a cleaner path. It's not like you got Mahomes on there. Josh Allen plays perfect again. Mahomes goes down the field in 13 seconds or whatever it was. You don't have that guy on the other side. So I'm almost of the mindset of yeah, dude, if it's just play perfect. You would have had to play perfect if it was Lamar or Mahomes on the other side anyways. So do that, and now you don't have those guys. So I'll say truth. I'll say truth to that. All right, real quick. Caleb Williams proved Saturday night that he's the real deal.
I'm going to say truth just because he's going to be aligned with Ben Johnson for an extended period of time here. And he did some things that ordinary quarterbacks just can't do.
That throw to Dunze, the majority of the quarterbacks can't make that throw.
And he's now, I'm watching him at the line of scrimmage. I'm watching him change coverages. I'm watching him pick up blitzes. I'm watching him, he's becoming the quarterback that he was projected to be. Now, would he get to this point without Ben Johnson? Probably not. He probably would have been thrown into that Sam Darnold, Mark Sanchez, Baker Mayfield, all of that Mac Jones bucket of first-round guys that had a ton of talent. But then you see the way he acknowledged post-game yesterday. There's some great speeches in the Bears locker room, but he acknowledges just how much Ben Johnson has meant to him. I think it only gets better.
Yeah, right, Coach.
I was listening to his post-game interview, and it seems like there's a shift in his tone and his leadership. So I was really impressed by that. I was impressed what he did in the second half. I'm going to lean overreaction for now, just because I thought he was awful in the first half. And you can't be awful. Moving forward, you can't play 30 minutes. You can't.
Yeah.
So,
although he has.
He has, and they've won. But how long can you do that?
This Bears team has been, if you could bottle up in one season all the misery that the Bears fans have had throughout the years, right? The decades. All the miserable losses. And in one season, they're like, we got you. That is what has happened with the Bears. Go back and there's some of their wins. The two against the Packers, the last two against the Packers. Miracle victories. And you do that for a lot of the games throughout the course of the year. The Vikings, they weren't supposed to win that one. But you mentioned the Devin Duvernay return, set them up. Improbable win after improbable win after improbable win. And I'm not taking anything away from it. Because, again, this is the same organization that a year ago had one of their defensive backs taunting fans of the opposing team and then flies across the field and tips it in for a Hail Mary, tips it to a wide receiver for a Hail Mary. This is your franchise. And they have hey, we got you.
Yeah.
Our bad. Here's a whole bunch of miracle victories.
I just wonder
the ride, man.
How long that can last.
It might last throughout the year.
It could. With this playoff field, who knows, right? Who knows?
Who knows? But with Ben, to Jamie's point, with Ben Johnson, that dude's legit. And he's becoming like a villain for at the very least, the NFC North teams, if not the other teams he faces.
He's becoming great theater.
But he's not like he also might be an offensive genius.
He's pretty good.
So he's not just a blowhard. He's like, dude, what are you doing? You know, like you're riling everybody up because you got a miracle win. No, the offense that he called in the fourth quarter alone, I thought he got way too cute in the first half. I mean, going for it in the 4th and 4, whatever it was, backed up like that. You're just, what are you doing?
Got some Dan Campbell.
What are you doing? The second half, fourth quarter, man, Ben Johnson's legit.
Did you see
Caleb's
what he
legit.
played for his team in training camp?
What do you play? Oh, yeah, you shared it with me. You were very gracious to share that with me. Go ahead, tell people.
In training camp, he showed the Patriots comeback win against the Falcons. And this is actually not a shot at you, Anthony. It was last night when I sent it because I thought it was funny.
Fair.
But as of right now, he did it. And then he went on to explain just after, like, we're going to be in situations that feel like there's no way. There's always a way.
Yeah.
And so he said, I just wanted my team to be mentally prepared. And he also mentioned that it was good to get the perspective because I forget the names of the players, but one of his team or his players played for the Patriots and another one played for the Falcons.
He's got a couple, yeah.
And so he was able to get them to comment on their perspective of how that game went. He says it's a very big learning moment.
That's unique. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Grady Jarrett may have been the Super Bowl MVP of that Super Bowl. He had like 3.5 sacks at Brady. He plays for the Bears now. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's just cool stuff. I love when head coaches in different sports do unique things to them, their own personality, and it works out, or it's interesting.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right.
I hate it.
I don't blame you. In your division.
Sucks.
All right, we're going to do Bet the Board next. Jamie's last segment. He's got to get out of here afterwards. Bet the Board next on 101 ESPN.
If you're driving around your vehicle right now and you're maybe a little bored with what you see, that happens. You go out to the drive, you're like, man, I love my car, I love my truck, but I wish it had a little something extra. Let me point you in the right direction. Go see my friends over at Pure Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. They're just the best in the business. I've got a pickup truck. I've had the windows tinted. I've had the tires done, running boards, all of that stuff over at Pure Performance. So that's just my one pickup truck. Any vehicle you have on the road right now, they've got accessories for you. And they're just awesome people to deal with. So get over to their 25,000 square foot facility. It's located right off of Cave Springs Boulevard, Highway 70, exit Cave Springs. You can see it down on the left-hand side. Please walk in, ask for Shelby. Tell Shelby that Jamie Rivers sent you in. Let her know what you're looking to do, what your budget is, and then let them get going because they are so good at what they do. You're going to love everything that Pure Performance does for your vehicle. And then you're going to thank me for it later on. So please get there, check things out. If not, at least get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
right, time to play Bet the Board here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Carey did officially send in his pick, which we'll get to in a second. But Marsh, what are the standings for Bet the Board?
All right, Jamie has 4 points. Anthony, you have 3. Carey has 3, and I have 2.
All right, so Jamie, you're up.
Yeah, give me the Lightning at the Flyers on the money line, minus 148.
Okay.
Give me that Lightning.
Am I up, Marshy?
That's correct.
All right, I will take Kenneth Gainwell to have 33 or more receiving yards tonight. Kenneth Gainwell, 33 or more receiving yards tonight. I think it's going to be a big game for him as the Steelers look to dink and dunk their way down the field. Now, I do have Carey's number if you want that.
Yes.
He has DK Metcalf over 56.5 yards receiving. And I can verify that if you give me a second here. Receiving yards. Over, under, receptions, receiving yards. Got it. Yeah. Yep, he's good to go. 56.5 receiving yards. Verified.
Yep, stats and facts here.
Yep. Marshy?
I like your Kenneth Gainwell pick. I was thinking about receiving yards as well, but I'm going to go with receptions for Kenneth Gainwell. 5+ receptions tonight.
You're wild. You know that, though.
I'm wild.
Yeah. Ours might be combined. You know? Maybe. If you hit yours, I feel real good about mine hitting.
Yeah, unless he only gets like 2 yards per catch.
You stop that right now. Okay? I thought this was going to be a kind of a combined effort with you, and now you're just talking smack.
It's just like a hypothetical. I'm not like rooting for it.
No, I hear you.
Just hypothetical.
So some NFL like coaching news and things like that. Jonathan Gannon, the Cowboys, scheduled an interview with him for their defensive coordinator vacancy. So he is going to get a look. John Harbaugh. Apparently, there's some different reports regarding John Harbaugh. Harbaugh reportedly is down to either the Giants or Falcons, and the Falcons completed an interview with John Harbaugh today. And it's the first known interview for Harbaugh, who apparently did not leak his schedule to the entire insider crew at NFL Network. Would make sense for him to kind of view some of the more appealing jobs. The expectation is, according to Adam Schefter, that Harbaugh is still in touch with the Giants, Titans, Browns, Raiders, and Cardinals. But apparently the Giants and Falcons might be at the top of the list. And if Harbaugh is interested in Atlanta, I can't see Arthur Blank, who brought in Belichick twice for long interviews before he was kind of talked out of it, and good decision there to move on. But he was talked out of that. If Harbaugh's interested, he's going to be the guy. Because Blank's going to sign a big check. Whatever you want, dude.
A blank check.
A blank check for John Harbaugh. They have needed that, not even culture, but just somebody that's going to go in there and be the adult in the room.
At this point, if you're Arthur Blank, do you just say, hey, look, John, the job is yours. We'll give you 48 hours to think about it. Mm-hmm. Basically, here's a blank check. Ish.
Yeah.
We want you to be the Falcon. Like, come on.
Right.
I've screwed up a lot. I'll make coaches, players.
Starting to sound like Al Pacino. I pissed away all my money.
I pissed away almost all of my money.
I ran off anybody that loved me.
Yeah.
So that's blank now. That's what you're thinking. Yeah. All right.
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
I can get on board with that.
Like, who else do you think comes into Atlanta and changes it? Like,
that dramatically, that's it. I mean,
there's some unknowns.
Harbaugh.
Maybe, but you want a maybe again? Right. I want a guy who 18 years has proven. 18 years. He's
18
proven.
years.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Hasn't a 10-year listener.
I don't know how that mixed in, but it worked. It worked. All right, Jamie, you got to get out of here.
Yeah, Blues Hall of Fame night.
Nice.
Yeah, waiting for my jacket still. Yeah.
Think it's tonight?
Probably not.
Okay. All right.
Probably not. DraftKings has it at plus 40,000.
Okay. That's not bad, actually.
That's Carey's bet the board tomorrow.
Yeah, Jamie Rivers.
You better odds over at Circus Sports, by the way.
Oh, there you go. All right, that's bet the board. Jamie's out of here. Marsh and I got you covered for the last hour of the show.
You guys are going to be great.
Thank you. That'll be fine. Average, mid.
You guys will be way better than average.
How far can the veteran quarterback really take you? There's two teams left in this playoff mix that this applies to. And a veteran quarterback, it's easy, right? I'd say you're very far. We'll mention the two and then decide for yourself. That's next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, where it's 5:05. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So it was a bad day to say that Josh Allen and the Bills will fall. So Josh Allen yesterday, the path to the Super Bowl cleared now that Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow are all. They didn't even qualify for the playoffs. They're not even out of it. They're out. They've been out of it. But a lot of people are like, hey, if Allen doesn't win his first AFC title against this playoff field, it's going to be completely on him. And more than halfway through that game, it looked like the Bills were going to lose to the Jaguars until Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. And I thought for the most part, he was perfect. Statistically, he's had bigger games, Marsh. But if you look at what he did, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air, 28 of 35, 273 yards. Didn't make crucial mistakes. Had the one pass where he's like falling backwards and threw it 45, 50 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a great throw. Tony Romo
was unbelievable.
Was saying if the Bills win this game, look at that throw. That's the one that won this game.
Absolutely. Matthew Stafford looked like he was going to lose to the Panthers twice. Engineered a final drive, threw just a dime with the DB all over tight end Colby Parkinson. Threw a dime to Parkinson, who tiptoed and got in.
Can we talk about that final drive real quick from the Panthers' perspective defensively? I mean, they were giving so much cushion that entire drive. What are you doing?
Well, the other thing, too, to your point, is Stafford had, he was damn near perfect in the first quarter. And then he had a point where he was like one of something. He banged his finger on a helmet. Mm-hmm. The Panthers made adjustments. It was like he couldn't complete a pass. And then in the fourth quarter, like you said, they started backing off a little bit. And he did what he needed to do, including throwing the no-look pass to Davante Adams across the middle. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's done that a few times in his career.
He did it in the Super Bowl against the Bengals.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen it, there's a linebacker sitting in the middle of the field, and Davante Adams is about to come into that zone right across the middle. And Stafford looks to his right so that the linebacker, went to the linebacker's left. And just as he's doing that, Stafford throws a no-look pass to Davante Adams before Stafford gets crushed in the pocket. It was a perfect pass, and Adams wanted to pick up a big gain on it. Here's my question, though. These are 2 quarterbacks playing at an elite level, but 2 quarterbacks that are playing on flawed teams. Mm-hmm. Buffalo more so than the Rams.
Right.
The Bills can't stop the run. Yesterday was a bad matchup because Jacksonville wound up slowing down James Cook. I mean, James Cook did next to nothing yesterday because Jacksonville does such a great job against the run. So his biggest weapon, James Cook, was taken out. And Josh Allen had to engineer a last-minute comeback. Stafford, the Rams were playing arguably much better, certainly in the middle part of the season. They started to slow down toward the back end. And they'll have some issues now. They got to go on the road against the Bears. Bears have a really good wide receiving core. If you're going to beat the Rams, you better have a good wide receiving core. How far do you think these two quarterbacks can take their respective teams on the current teams that they're on?
I think they can go to the Super Bowl.
Both of them?
Yeah, I really do. I think this is the playoff field where the veteran quarterback is that much more important. Typically, we're seeing playoff fields with numerous veteran quarterbacks, so it really comes down to other things. And I know these teams are flawed, and maybe it's just because this is probably the matchup that I would like to see in the Super Bowl. Maybe outside of another, like I could see the 49ers. I wouldn't mind seeing them in the Super Bowl, but I've also seen them a few times recently, and they played the Chiefs a few times within the last 6 years. I know the Rams were in the Super Bowl against Joe Burrow. But that was an exciting game. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the 49ers. I'm not big on the Seattle Seahawks. There's something about Sam Darnold that I just don't trust it just yet. I know they got a really good defense, and I don't know if the Bears are there just yet. They kind of remind me of the Commanders last year, where they're a fun team. throughout the season, into the playoffs. They maybe win some games that they shouldn't. But ultimately, when it comes down to the conference championship game, or at least the divisional round, I just don't know if it will happen. But, I mean, I can see both of these teams in the Super Bowl, despite their flaws, because their quarterbacks are all world.
Are you also saying that based on the competition? Because I know you haven't been high on Denver.
I'm not high on Denver.
And that's Josh Allen, and the Bills' next opponent.
I think the one team that could maybe scare the Bills because they've beat them before is the Patriots. Now, you can make the same argument if Houston wins tonight. Houston took down the Bills as well. I'm not even so sure if Houston wins tonight if the Patriots don't lose to the Texans, depending on how tonight looks.
Sure.
So I think anything is in play, but I have the most trust in these quarterbacks. I know Josh Allen hasn't been to the Super Bowl, but he's been in big games. And if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, he's probably in a Super Bowl or two. Who knows? And then we know what Matthew Stafford can do. He's won a Super Bowl. So I could totally see these two teams playing each other in Santa Clara come Super Bowl Sunday.
I say the only, but we've already listed a lot of things that have gone wrong for the Bills this season, specifically on defense, and the fact that, I like Shakir, but it's not like he's a prototypical number one wide receiver. And I thought they were going to use the tight ends a lot more yesterday, both Kincaid and Knox. Kincaid, they used a little bit more, and he scored a touchdown.
They might have to moving forward with Gabe Davis being injured.
Sure, but they have just a collection. They have parts with their wide receivers. They don't have, one or two dudes. Whereas the Rams have two dudes,
right?
A stable of tight ends, and they also have Sean McVay. That's the other thing that would have me concerned with the Bills. I think Joe Brady is a pretty good coordinator. I don't know if he's ready to be a head coach, but it's not like he has all of the necessary weapons like Sean McVay does to tilt the scales back in his favor if things start to go wrong.
But he has Josh Allen.
But he does have Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen, if nothing's open, he's scrambling. He more than likely is going to get the yardage that he needs.
The ultimate cheat code.
He is the ultimate cheat code, yeah. Now, he could be banged up heading into next week. Who knows? I know he was pretty banged up throughout that game yesterday, but he found a way to win. I won't put anything past Josh Allen.
Well, the Bills go to Denver in the divisional rounds. The Seahawks host the 49ers, and the Bears host the Rams. The other matchup we don't know about is who the Patriots are going to host. The winner tonight between the Steelers and the Texans will determine that. Let's just say the Texans beat the Patriots tonight, and I'm not saying that the Steelers
in the divisional
can't win.
round.
Let's say the Texans beat the Steelers.
Gotcha.
Excuse me, tonight, and it's Texans and Patriots. What matchup are you most interested in?
Out of the four? Oh, probably San Francisco and Seattle.
Really? Even with the way that the Week 18 game ended for San Francisco?
I don't care about it. That was a short week. I know there's a short week this week. But
no George Kittle.
I don't care.
Okay. So I'd be really looking forward to the Rams and Bears.
I think all these matchups are going to be somewhat exciting. If they're anything like what we witnessed this weekend, they'll all be exciting because I think there's that element of you really just don't know. Like we're talking about Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford. I think that they can go to the Super Bowl. They might be out after this week. I have no clue. I really don't know. But I think that's what makes it somewhat exciting.
Do you have a preference between the Steelers and Texans?
Well, I picked the Texans to win, so I'm going to ride with the Texans. I hope they win. Because I don't think the Steelers are that good, and they're not exciting to watch. And I don't want to see a boring football team make their way through the playoffs.
Sure.
So I think for me, I'm at the point now where, and I hate the Rams. I don't like the LA Rams at all, but I think that would be the most intriguing matchup. Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, MVP last season versus who I believe will win the MVP this year. I think that would be a great Super Bowl matchup, and I think there'd be a lot of offense, which I'm all about.
I don't think there's a matchup. I don't think out of the four NFC teams, even the 49ers, because look, they deserve everybody's respect for what they did, what they've done. But even the 49ers, I don't think there's an NFC team that I wouldn't want to see in the Super Bowl. I know you don't want to see the Seahawks, but that defense is unreal. Jackson Smith and Jigba is
electric.
It's not that
I don't want to see the Seahawks. I just don't know, right? Well, actually, personally, I don't know how I would feel if Sam Darnold made it to the Super Bowl. That would be, as a Vikings fan.
I mean, he'd have to go
weird.
through
And,
the Niners and then either the Rams or Bears.
Yeah. The Bears, I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl because I hate Chicago. So I hate the Rams too. So, and I've seen San Francisco in the Super Bowl, and they've lost. So I don't know. I just want to see. I do want to see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl.
No matter who it is, you're going to be rooting against the NFC in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm hearing.
100%. If Josh Allen is there, I will be rooting for the Bills.
Well, if it's Denver,
man, I don't know.
If it's Denver against any of the NFC teams,
I'll probably be rooting for Denver.
Wow. After 18 plus weeks of smack talk on Denver.
Man.
It's going to be interesting.
For me, there's only like one true team out of the AFC that I genuinely hope represents the conference, because I don't like New England based on what they've done. Boston sports, can't stand them, can't stand their fans. Denver, I've been poo-pooing all over them all year. So, preferably I'd like to see them not make it. I want to see Josh Allen succeed. I want to see him have his chance. Might not win it, but I want to see him have his chance. I think the NFL and fans should see that caliber of quarterback at least get a shot at winning the Lombardi Trophy.
All right, there you have it. It's Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. Jamie will be back with us tomorrow. Carey will be back with us on Wednesday. What are our initial thoughts on the national championship matchup? You got Indiana, you got Miami. Jamie said earlier he thought Indiana would win in a blowout. Marsh said he's not so sure. We'll dive into it next on 101 ESPN. Chastain on 101 ESPN. So next Monday, we'll see Miami versus Indiana in the College Football National Championship. Things I never thought I'd say, Marsh. Indiana, it's a football wagon. Wow. College football wagon, those Indiana Hoosiers. Now, Jamie said earlier that he thinks that this game is going to be a blowout. I don't see it. The current line is Indiana 8.5, and I think a lot of bettors are going to look at that and say, man, that line's way too high. And I would agree. Miami defensively, that defensive line, Indiana's going to get the ball out quickly, but Miami has faced teams that will get the ball out quickly, and you have to rally around that and tackle, including Ole Miss. Ole Miss presented a unique challenge to Miami, and defensively, they didn't necessarily play their best, but I still think that if when push comes to shove, we're going to see Miami's best defensive performance. And that defensive line, one of the best in football outside of Texas Tech. So I think Miami, if they they rally to the football, not having the one defensive back who's going to miss the first half, that's going to hurt them. But if Carson Beck plays like he did against Ole Miss, and it's a stiffer challenge because Indiana's defense is not Ole Miss's defense. But if Carson Beck plays like that, this game is going to come down to the fourth quarter. I do not see a blowout, and I know you feel the same way.
No, I don't. I mean, if you look at the two teams, you look at these two teams, I'm looking at a common opponent. Indiana, squeaked by Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Maybe not squeak by is probably not the right word to use, but that was a close game. And Miami beat Ohio State. Both teams have beaten Ohio State. Pretty tight games, I would say. I think maybe some people look at what happened on Friday and think, oh my goodness, this Indiana team is just otherworldly. Some people are comparing them to the 2019 LSU team in terms of who's the best team ever in college football.
Oh, really? I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I'm just the internet. It's a funny thing, Anthony.
That LSU team was unbelievable.
Yes. Anyways.
Do you want to go over some of those players?
Oh, we don't have to.
We'll
I think everybody knows.
Okay.
I mean, I can name 3 of them off the top of my head who are just dudes in the NFL. But I just think that this game is going to be closer than what people think. That's just my thought process. I mean, it's no secret I've been sort of riding Miami for over a month now.
Yeah.
Because I think that they are so much more than their losses to Louisville and SMU. And I think they're proving that. They go on the road in the first round against Texas A&M, take down Texas A&M. That was a tight game, kind of a weird game, but they win that game. You're like, okay, maybe Texas A&M wasn't as good. Then they take on Ohio State. I think everybody thought that Ohio State would cruise by Miami.
I did. I was dead wrong.
Yeah. They take down the Buckeyes. And then Ole Miss, I thought Miami was the better team going into that one. It was a tight game, but when Carson Beck needed to come up big late in that game, he did. So I think this is going to be a tight game. I'm not so sure that if Miami does get the job done, but I do think it's going to be a fun national championship.
The other thing too that I would ask if I'm a Miami fan, there's one good and one bad. I'll start with the bad first. I just saw Indiana force a bunch of turnovers against Oregon and Dante Moore, and it completely changed the game. I mean, right out of the gates, you got a pick 6. The 2 losses you mentioned, Louisville and SMU, the 2 common themes there was Miami turning the ball over, specifically Carson Beck. Those are 2 of Carson Beck's worst performances. Definitely the Louisville game. So if Carson Beck can't protect the football, and he has throughout the playoffs, but if he can't, we saw what just happened when Indiana forced a bunch of turnovers against the team. So that's on the bad side. The good side is, do you have more than Malachi Toney? And Miami does.
Yeah.
They feature Malachi Toney, the dynamic freshman, but it's not as if they don't have other components to their offense. The offensive line is really good. Mark Fletcher, the running back, gives them an element of if they do get a lead and they can run it a little bit. They can control the game, unlike what we've seen before, the Packers and some of the other teams that, have blown leads of late. And Keelan Marion, who had the long touchdown in the first half, and it was right before halftime, caught the long touchdown, gives them a vertical threat. Indiana, we didn't see, Indiana was able to get Oregon one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. But Indiana's flaw defensively, if they do have one, is their secondary. You just didn't see it because, again, they made they made Oregon go one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. I think Miami can move the football against these guys. They're not just Malachi Toney dependent. And, of course, if he winds up having, he catches the ball in open space, you never know. But I think it's going to be a tight game. The quarterbacks are fascinating for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Indiana, to me, should win this game, but I'm a little surprised to see the number being 8.5.
Yeah, I just think like Miami, the guys that they have on the lines, in the trenches are NFL-worthy type players. And do you think Indiana has faced a team with so many dudes like that so far this season, or at least on this college football playoff run?
Ohio State.
And it was a tight game.
Ohio State is the one comparable defensively, and that game was 13-10. It was a Big Ten championship game. And Indiana moved the ball at times, but they lacked that explosive play.
Mm-hmm. So what does this do for Indiana if they lose this game? Do you look at them differently? Or do they need to win the national championship for you to be like, okay, this is a team that I can believe in moving forward to potentially win multiple national championships? Or do you think this is kind of their shot?
No, with Kurt Cignetti in tow, no, I don't think this is their one shot. I do not feel that way. Going back to that LSU team, had that team lost that night to Clemson, forget it. You won't be back there.
Well, they haven't.
And I'm not just saying that in hindsight. I mean, right. it was clear, like, this is the team.
Right.
Indiana with Kurt Cignetti, you brought an Indiana Hoosiers team to the playoffs a year ago. Weren't ready, needed more pieces, needed the veteran seasons that they have there right now, seasoning, and they've been able to make a run. They're clearly the best team. And they have been since they beat Ohio State. Some would argue they have been since they beat Oregon and Eugene.
Mm-hmm. Some would say they have been since they took down Illinois.
Carey would certainly say that, yeah. But no, I don't think, Marsh, if they were to lose this game, do I suddenly say, hey, that was their one and only shot? I think they're in great shape. Mm-hmm. If they lose, I would like to think that I would say, in a vacuum, Miami had the better defense and Miami won the game. Carson Beck got hot at the right time, Joe Flacco style, and wound up winning a national championship. But Indiana's going to be back next year.
So on the flip side, do you think that this is Miami's golden goose?
Yeah, I would say that, because I do not feel that's the better question. Mm-hmm. You were outside of the playoff mix.
Yeah, there's a chance that there's a world in where they're not even
here.
Which is wild.
If the committee stuck by their rankings,
God, the committee's got to feel great, don't they?
I mean,
oh, thank God we got that one, right?
Notre Dame fans can argue, and they probably should.
Notre Dame would beat both of these teams.
Notre Dame could argue that they would be here too had they gotten the shot. We'll never know. That's the beauty of that argument, right?
Yeah.
But
they would have been on Indiana's side of the bracket.
Yeah, they would have. At the very least.
If they would have taken Alabama's spot.
Sure. At the very least, Miami gets in the national championship, and the committee can at least say, hey, they should have been there.
Exactly.
Clearly what they were able to do, they should have been there.
Well, you know what's funny to think about is if the ACC didn't have some stupid tiebreaker rule and Miami was just simply in the ACC championship game, I believe they win that game. Mm-hmm. They get the automatic bid, which then pushes out James Madison,
right?
Which then allows Notre Dame to be in the college football playoff. So,
yeah, you want to be pissed at somebody? Be pissed at the ACC.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You're right, because if
they're the ones that put the committee in a weird situation.
Very true. Which is what I argued before. The argument didn't start at Notre Dame and Miami. the argument started at why the hell is the ACC tie-breaking scenario set up the way it is, where Duke gets in? And why does the committee have to choose X amount of conference title winners that are ranked? That is where the argument started. The system was broken. But a lot of people made it out to be Notre Dame versus Miami and whether or not the head-to-head. We beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame saying, well, we've been ranked higher. Of course you have. Your losses came before Miami's. So you were going to go up the rankings. That's just how the rankings work.
Right.
So that's a flawed system. Both these teams should have been in. Because Notre Dame would have been good enough to make another run. We just saw them in the national championship last year.
I do think the freshness of this national championship, having two teams that won in Indiana who we've never seen, and they've just been one of the worst FBS schools ever in terms of football. And then Miami, a team that was a powerhouse, 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. I do find that very intriguing, and I don't know how I feel about it on the NFL side of things. I don't know why I feel that way.
We'll explore those thoughts.
Yeah.
We'll get to them next. Also, we'll talk about Texans Steelers. Steelers haven't lost a Monday Night Football game, I think, since the dinosaurs have been around. Marsh has got the exact stats on that. But we'll get into the matchup. Things lean Texans. But are we counting the Steelers out too soon? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. If you have missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you will find all of our shows, all of our interviews as well. We talked with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider, earlier today. So if you missed that, just head to the podcast page. It's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have the final wild card weekend game in the NFL. It's tonight. Steelers, Texans, pregame starts at 6. Kickoff is at 7:15, and we'll break that game down next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
So I don't want to do what I did poorly before the wild card weekend games, Marsh. You got a last one tonight. We will have it right here on 101 ESPN. Steelers, Texans pregame starting at 6, right after we get off the air. You'll hear the pregame, and then we've got the game action for you about 7:15. But what I don't want to do is say how the Steelers have no shot, like I did with the 49ers when the 49ers were previewing that 49ers-Eagles game. And it wasn't really about the Eagles. It was about the 49ers and the injury situation there that they were in. Steelers, you can make a claim like, okay, how are they going to score? And that defense wasn't that great this season. They weren't that great to get into the playoffs against the Ravens. It was really Aaron Rodgers making some remarkable throws in that final Sunday night football game against Baltimore to win the AFC North and punch their ticket back in. But there's something about this Steelers team, especially when they're an underdog under Mike Tomlin and the lights are bright. They play their best. I'll phrase it this way, Marsh. If the Steelers win this game, how does it look?
Oh, wow. I think the defense is a Steelers defense that we have seen before. In terms of...
So they turn back the clock.
They turn back the clock, and they make things difficult for the Texans offense. The Texans offense, and we talk about their defense a lot because they have a really, really good defense. I'm not so sold on their offense, though. Their offense has made games look ugly at times. And C.J. Stroud's a solid quarterback. You know, they have pieces, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about their offense that is kind of ugly to me in some sense. And also Aaron Rodgers, just being Aaron Rodgers, getting the ball out quick. The guy in the playoffs comes alive, you know? Like, it's been a minute since he's been in the playoffs. I'm sure he's psyched to play in this game. So he's going to be dialed in for sure. I think there are ways to get around that, and I mentioned him throwing the ball quickly. He is good at dissecting defenses. The key is, will they open up the offense at all? Or are they just going to dink and dunk and do their thing? I'm not in love with that offense of theirs. I know you're not.
No.
But if they put together a game plan that sort of resembles what they did against the Lions, they could put some points on the board. As long as they keep this game close and they have a shot in the fourth quarter, I could see them winning the game. And I think Mike Tomlin, we've seen a lot of coaches over the years, recently, even in the playoffs, not wanting to take the points, right? Sometimes it comes down to taking the points.
Sure.
I think he's going to take those points, kick the field goal.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we overlook that now because all these coaches want to go for it on fourth down.
Sure. I think that's a good point. It's an old school take.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel does the same thing.
I'm more of the mindset of just taking the points. I don't know how much. Well, I do know how much. You can't, when it comes to analytics, what you can't factor in is the emotional aspect of going for it, having this long sustained drive. You get stalled. You go for it on fourth down deep in an opponent's territory. and you get stopped. I understand what the math says about if you pick it up and you score a touchdown as opposed to kicking the field goal in that spot. But what does that do emotionally to a team? Analytics can't factor that in. And at the end of the day, if you continuously just take the points, you'll eventually get to a spot where you either have the lead and now you're playing defense to seal it or run the ball to seal the game, or now you need a touchdown. So if you put yourself in that spot, if you get it to the fourth quarter where it's a standalone game because of what you did beforehand, taking the points, not necessarily, taking these big swings and misses, you'll get yourself to the fourth quarter where you can win the game. We saw the opposite of that, of course. We saw that on Saturday night where Ben Johnson said, I'm going to shoot the three all night. I don't care where we are in the court, we're going to shoot the three. We're going for explosive plays. Mm-hmm. Fourth down and whatever, doesn't matter. We're backed up, don't care. Mm-hmm. And those explosive plays, because he stayed true to his identity, wound up winning in the end. So I'm saying you can't. It's just what philosophy do you want to take into this? And Mike Tomlin has that approach of we have drives, you get stalled out, we'll rely on Boswell, we'll get the game to the fourth quarter and we'll win it there. I don't hate it, especially when you have a team. Let's be honest, it's limited.
Yeah, well, think about on Saturday, first drive of the game for the Panthers, they go for it on their side of the field.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
It didn't work out well.
No, they got it to the fourth quarter.
They did.
But it was 7-0 in a blink.
And I understand that you're playing with house money. Yeah, you shouldn't win that game. They didn't.
But
still though, like you manage that game. Well, you punt, you make the Rams, who have a dynamic offense, drive the field and make them work for their touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Maybe you do win that game.
Maybe.
I don't know. What do you think about the Texans' running game?
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, their offense doesn't speak to me.
I think their passing game has clicked in the second half of the season. They've got. It's not just Nico Collins. The Steelers have long been able to draft wide receivers. It's kind of ironic now because they have DK Metcalf and then a bunch of guys basically, right?
Right.
But the Steelers forever they've always found those wide receivers, whether AJ Brown in the sixth round or whatever. I don't have to list all the Steelers wide receivers. Antonio Brown. Who did I say?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. Thank you. Antonio Brown. They found in the sixth round. Mm-hmm. The Texans, when you look at their receivers,
they got some guys.
Nico Collins. Higgins has really come about. Xavier Hutchinson is fine. Mm-hmm. Christian Kirk is a veteran.
Yep.
I like this kid Noel, who has really come about. They've got some receivers. Mm-hmm. Schultz, the tight end, is solid. Their passing game is stout. But you asked me about the running game. I don't like anything about the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Marks is fine.
He gets injured like every game.
Right. Nick Chubb, Right. I think the kid that actually has got a little juice to him is Jordan, but he's out tonight. I don't like anything about the Texans' running game, which, if you go back to my whole point about the Packers, how do you blow? What's the anatomy of a choke?
Yeah.
You're up 21-3. Why can't you win that game? You couldn't run the ball.
Right.
You never seize control of that game.
I wonder if that plays a factor into tonight's game.
The Packers had the ball coming out in the second half. If they went on a 7-minute drive and they were running the ball and they were taking it to the Bears and they merely got a field goal, imagine now the panic that has to ensue with the Bears. Yeah. You're limited now when it comes to possessions. The pressure is all on Chicago. You're looking at the clock now. It may have been a different game, but they could not establish the run at all.
That's why you give the ball to a lineman and have him run down the field.
It's not a bad approach. Only to fumble?
Only to fumble. By the way, when that happened, whoever jumped on that football for the Bears, I was sitting on my couch in utter disbelief on how he did not recover that football. He jumped on it like he was jumping into a pool.
It was immediate too. That thing popped right back out.
What are you doing? There's nobody around you.
No, not that he knew, but Bears still won that game, by the way.
They did.
Holy smokes. All right, so who do you got tonight?
I'm going to go with the Texans. I think their defense is just that good. But who knows, man? I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
Texans defensively are disgusting.
They're good. They're real good.
But I think it's going to be a game in the fourth quarter for exactly what we're talking about. Texans cannot run the ball.
And the Texans they've never won a road playoff game.
Ever, Bob.
0-6. That doesn't bode well. But you know what? Josh Allen had never won a playoff game on the road either, and he got the job done. So who knows? I don't know. I just hope it's not an ugly game, and it very well could be.
I could see the Texans putting up some points.
I think though, if it is an ugly game, I feel like that favors the Steelers. Don't you think? They just play ugly football.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. I got the Texans tonight, too, by the way. Go Houston. Sorry, Carey. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show next. Chastain on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or via your Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's mobile app. All the podcast brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. All right, time to find out what Marsh and I learned today. Marsh, what'd you learn?
I learned that Jamie is now apparently best friends with Chaim Bloom.
Yes, he was calling him Heimer.
Yes.
Apparently they shared some drinks and things like that.
I guess so.
According to Jamie, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Whether or not we believe him, which we don't. We just don't believe him. No. Thing I learned today is that Jamie has no faith in the Miami Hurricanes. Marsh has been telling us how good the Miami Hurricanes are for 2 years now. 2 years Marsh has been backing those Miami Hurricanes. And Jamie just spat in his face. Said, I don't believe in your Hurricanes. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yep. And I quote, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. Marsh, want to do some 3 stars?
Yes.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day, presented by Circus Sports. No bet fees ever with the world's largest sports book, now at your fingertips in Illinois and Missouri.
So our 3rd star of the day goes out to a text we received from a gentleman named Dave. He had an idea.
Hey, Dave.
An idea of a new segment, and that segment is called Is Jamie Lying?
I like that one a lot.
So
yeah,
we're
that's
going to
good.
give that new segment, it's in the works, of course. That's our 3rd star of the day. With that being said, our 2nd star of the day goes out to Heimer.
Of course. Jamie's talking about Chaim Bloom.
Yes.
Apparently that's the nickname now.
1st star of the day. Anthony, you were kind of chirping these people.
I was?
Maybe, maybe not. Bricklayers.
Oh, no, I wasn't chirping them at all. Yeah. I made the mistake. I call myself. I made the mistake of saying, like A.J. Brown, he had the hands of bricklayers yesterday. But I thought, you know what? The bricklayers probably have great hands.
Yeah. It was more so of a chirp for A.J. Brown.
It really was, yeah. Where the Eagles live in dysfunction, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Last year worked for them, not so much today.
It's hard to win every year, Anthony.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Can't win every year.
Especially when you don't have the right offensive coordinator.
Unless you're the Dodgers.
Well, if you're the Dodgers, yeah, you should win every single year. Those rat you-know-whats. All right, Steelers-Texans pregame we've got in 5 minutes. Kickoff about 7:15. The end of Wild Card Weekend is upon us. And if the majority of the games for Wild Card Weekend are any indication, then tonight's game will come down to the wire. And I do believe it will.
Yeah. And tomorrow we will find out who the winner is between us and the Rizzuto show.
And we have no idea. We turned in our picks. Envelopes were sealed. We have no idea who they picked. We all know on the fast lane who we picked, but we don't know how we match up.
I mean, it could be over already.
It could be over already. We could have won already. We could have lost already. We have no idea. So tomorrow, I believe on the Rizzuto show, 105.7 The Point, our sister station, they will be unveiling who won and who lost. And, of course, the punishment will be brutal. All right, that'll do it for us. For Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, and Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.